Okay, we got numbers. Tom, don't talk anymore.
Okay, we're up. Hey guys, it's another Cleveland Moto Podcast, episode number 448. Light 'em up, boys! And it's very quiet as I'm drinking Coquito.
All I can do is sip my
I know. That's it. Just a little sound of the... Oh, Sleepy! Oh my God, Sleepy! It's all over your dick.
Oh, it's been sitting. How long was that sitting here?
A very long time, but that was a very lively exit.
I dropped the drink.
Okay, so already...
This has been...
Here, let me wipe that up for you.
I'm going to get napkins. I'm going to get paper towels.
I have cock soakage. I mean, it's not good.
The first thing that happened that was Dan.
Is going to serve.
Dan,
Oh no, he's
Look at this guy in the background.
dumped over a generous portion of whiskey,
Yeah, that did happen.
and that happened. And just when we got done cleaning up the generous portion of whiskey and got everything set,
That was Uncle Phil.
I just don't know what could have. I mean, dude, that thing was sitting there for a half an hour. Like it couldn't have been shaken up, right?
Is it infected?
oh, I think it was watching the Mermaids.
Right.
Yeah, we're pre-gaming with the Mermaids from
Pre-gaming
the
with Mermaids.
rec bar in
I like
Fort
the
Lauderdale.
mermaid without the tail.
Yeah, there you go. There's a tailless mermaid. Yeah, it's great. Rec bar in Fort Lauderdale. Just the thing. We were telling a story, but I had to start the recording to finish the story. To my left is...
Dan Conti.
And to his damp.
Steve Sleepy.
And to his left.
Johnny Mac.
And to his left.
Chris Smith.
And to his left.
Pete Hemphley.
And behind the bar.
Tom Pennington.
Tom Pennington. We have some leftover Christmas presents. If anybody didn't get the Christmas presents in the blue wrappers,
Yep.
the white and blue wrappers, those are for you. Help yourself. And the story I wanted to tell, we were talking about mermaid bars, and I've been to a couple of them, and I didn't know that you guys found the Mermaid Bar in Montana.
We were on the way to Great Falls, Montana for the BMW National Convention, and there happens to be a world-famous bar/motel there called the Sip and Dip. Of course, we had to make our presence known. We met a real-life mermaid riding in on her scooter, her buddy's scooter. She had some...
Did she have to ride a scooter because of the tail?
No, because she'd been caught drinking 3 times and driving. She had three-time winner on the DUI.
So she was
lottery.
she was drinking some of that ship-aged bourbon that Sleepy's so fond of.
She was drinking more than pool water. Let's put it at that.
So that's fantastic. And so did you hang around to see her show?
We did not. We got there
Okay.
earlier in the afternoon. We ate, we drank, and then we made our exit about 4 o'clock. I think the first swim show was starting at 6 or something. So
Okay.
we experienced the genuine tiki bar,
Right.
And then we met this lovely young mermaid on our way out.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That is super cool. There's another one that's in the Silverstone Casino in Vegas has a mermaid bar, and we invaded Johnny McElfresh's work trip, and Renee and I showed up, and it was just like pretty. You guys are mesmerized by one of the sirens of the sea. I think that's the sirens of the D. But we bombed in on John's trip, and then we said, since we ruined your work trip, Renee and I
Ruined it.
we ruined it. Since we ruined his work trip, I said, well, I got to make it up to you. We're going to take you to the Silverstone because they have mermaids. And it's a long hike. It's not in town. And so we took them out, and they have this ridiculously huge tank. I mean, it's aquarium-sized tank. But the deal is there. It goes from the floor up 30-some feet into the ceiling, into the rafters. One of the other cool things they have in that bar is they have an Airstream trailer you can bowl in.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Now, were there 2 or 4 lanes in that Airstream?
I feel like it was 2 lanes.
Yeah,
I mean,
2
really,
lanes.
you couldn't fit 4 in there.
No.
Yeah. I was surprised you could fit 2.
Right, honestly.
But they did a good job.
And they were fun. But
I mean, it wasn't like a full bowling lane.
No,
it was
it's-
sort of a mini bowling lane.
yeah, the
but-
small balls, the softball
But it
size
did
balls.
reset the pins, though. It wasn't like...
It was fully
we didn't-
digital.
We didn't have to... Yeah.
Yeah, it was fully digital.
Was it regular or duck pin?
No, it wasn't duck pin. It was actual... It was bowling, but on a slightly smaller scale. Yeah. But the pins worked the whole way, and they reset, and they had computer scoring and the whole deal. But they didn't have a system in place to prevent you from throwing 2 balls at once, which McElfresh figured out. And I will find the video, because I have the video of McElfresh 2-fisting these coconut-sized bowling balls.
I had the split.
It was the 710 split, the dreaded 710 split.
So you double balled it?
I double balled it.
He double balled the hell out of it. And not only did he hit the 7 and the 10, but he crisscrossed on the way.
Trick shots.
Fucking trick shot, man.
Fucking see, he
That's
goes
just showing
skeet
off.
shooting, he hip
got-
shoots with one hand. You go bowling, he's fucking crossing double balls.
Yeah, he was. Don't cross the streams.
I got my balls.
He
crossed
was
up.
crossing the streams like a mother. But it's so cool. And that was one of those ones where Renee and I had 100% confidence that that shot couldn't be made. And John just fucking nailed it. He just...
I think John always rallies whenever you say, yeah, you can't do that.
Correct. Famous last words.
Aren't you supposed to?
Right. Yeah. Famous last words.
What happened to my reflector that I used to use as a bottle opener?
Oh, can't tell
I
you.
got you faded, Holmes.
Oh, bro.
Boy.
Yeah, thank
Oh,
you.
boy. So that's pretty cool. Popped up on Facebook Marketplace in Cleveland. You guys are more than welcome to try and find it. But it's a Vespa, and it's
Verspa.
not too bad, right? Pretty good. It's a Vespa. I worked on this Vespa, so I can tell you a little bit about this Vespa that's not in the listing. The first thing I'd like to call your attention to is it's $12,000.
What? You must have done a good job on it.
You know what? This poor sucker probably went to bring a trailer, or he went to like meet
Well-
and then he was like, oh,
Well-
look how much money I can get for my scooter.
Well,
Is this the Vespa that Elvis sold to John Wayne?
No, but this is the Vespa that is from the Terry Stewart collection.
Okay.
So this is the former CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that had an amazing scooter collection. Not amazing that he had 20 bikes. Amazing that he had the right 7 bikes. He had a Lambretta Series 1 TV 175 in a 100-point restoration. That's no shit a $12,000 bike.
Yeah.
Easy money.
yeah.
This GS Mark I is a 100-point restoration, and it's beautiful, and it's pretty rad. He had his Undop Bella 100-point restoration. He had a Honda Dream that you could eat off of any single part you wanted to, and he had the blue Super Hawk
Yep.
that I finally got, right? That was the only thing out of his collection that I bought. It was the only bike of his that I purchased. And he had a couple other bikes in there too. But here's where this story, this thing, be careful with your listings, guys. So this listing is a really good listing. And I'm not going to go into too much detail. But here's the big part. It's a Vespa GS Mark I. I purchased this scooter in the late 1990s in New Jersey, where I had it professionally restored. I best remember the name of the shop to be Scooters Originality. But I don't know whether they're still in business or not in New Jersey. Well, they're not. And I transported this bike, as well as the other 5 or 6 bikes in his collection. I transported these from New York, where he had his home as the CEO of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. He was also the CEO of Marvel Comics. That company got big, didn't it? Marvel Comics. When you think that I used to be the CEO of Marvel Comics, and think about what little that meant in 1988, but think of how important that is now, right? So
There's a whole universe now.
there is a whole fucking universe.
There's multiple.
There were no Marvel movies
There's a
Well,
multiverse.
when he was the CEO.
That's
Right.
not necessarily correct. However,
Yeah.
there was no Marvel MCU. Is the
Right,
best way
the
to say it.
MCU, exactly.
There were
Right.
Marvel. There were Marvel movies.
Sure.
but there were not Marvel movies the way that Disney is presenting them now.
I was going to say there were Marvel. There were.
Doing it this way.
Yeah, there you go. That's
There
how
we
you
go.
go. That's how that works. There were Marvel properties that
Keeps
were being
moving.
promoted by other film companies, right?
Yeah. Sony
yeah.
owned everything.
Yeah, I mean, Captain America existed. So anyway, but this is the deal. It has never been registered since I've acquired it. It has only ever been ridden on local streets for approximately 30 to 40 miles in all the time that I've owned it. Honestly, I rode this bike more than he did. The odometer on this 60-year-old machine reads 18,059. That's because Speedo King, when he rebuilt the odometer, made sure to put the original odometer mileage on it, and it is a perfect Speedo King odometer restoration, speedometer restoration. It looks You will not be able to tell this one is not an original Italian speedometer. Because, normally that's the weak link in old bikes.
Yep.
The bike looks great. The speedometer looks like ass. Okay. In 2012, I sold my collection of vintage scooters, Vespas, Lambrettas, Bella, Cushman, etc., but kept this GS for display purposes. It was running at that time, but it was drained by a local shop in Cleveland so that it be on display. It has been the pride of the collection on display in the foyer of my home for the past 10 plus years. It's absolutely true. Now, I can promise you, if you buy this bike, you will get every bit of $12,000 worth of Vespa. And it is a Mark I. It is a GS. It is the cat's ass. If you want to have a 59 Cadillac Biarritz convertible, this is the Vespa equivalent of that. This is the 57 Chevy Bel Air of the Vespa world.
You can't, because Bellissimo now charges, what, 10 grand to restore a P series?
Yes, at least.
You
And-
can't build this bike for
No
that.
way. There's no goddamn way.
Yeah.
And as much as you should be like, $12,000.
Oh, no.
I know people who would pay $2,000 for the rear accessory crash guards.
Oh, yeah. Because those are the real thing. That's not the
Everything on this
crappy Vietnamese equivalent.
Fucking amazing. And this was built in an era when the parts were still around to build this, and they don't exist
Well,
anymore.
and Gene didn't fuck around.
Gene did not fuck around. So that's exactly right.
Therefore, he did not find out.
He did not find out. Well, he sold this delightful bike to this person, and here
Yep.
it is. And so here's where it falls apart, guys. And this is it. As I never registered the GS, I do not have a paper document, title, to provide, but I'm happy to offer you a detailed bill of sale. Sorry, dude. I don't want to, I love you and I love your family, and I'm happy to be a part of this operation. But if you don't have a title, this bike is not worth $12,000. Now,
Don't we know somebody?
and that's what I'm going to talk about. And that's exactly what I'm going to talk about. You have not a single leg to stand on. In Ohio, we have an Ohio Revised Code 4503.3 that says very clearly, selling a motor vehicle without a title is a crime. Buying one's not, but selling one is. And if it's a motor vehicle, a titled or titleable motor vehicle, and you sell it without the title, you can be prosecuted for that.
What about race car stipulation or something?
I don't fucking know, dude.
Well, I'm just saying because
No, you're right. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, 'cause
right. I get it. But at that point, it's no longer a titleable motor vehicle, is it?
I mean,
Probably
A
not.
lot of racetracks require you to have proof of ownership.
Not anything I've ever been on. Yeah. I've never had tech inspection that involved title. But here's the one thing that I can guarantee you, though. We have a friend in Tennessee, and I'm going to give him a free pitch because he's done a great work for us. And he's called Saints Motorcycle Work. And his name is Joe Casola. And he builds motorcycle engines that are to die for in 100-year-old motorcycles. He also does titles. And he has figured out the state of Tennessee's absolutely 100% legal, no trickery, legal enough that he can advertise the service. It ain't free. It's going to cost you about $400. But for a $12,000 bike with no title, I might offer you $8,000 for that bike.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was at.
I agree. With a title, you're standing tall at $12,000. You're going to get your money, but you need a title. And nobody cares if the title said the previous owner was Joe Casola in Tennessee. Nobody cares as long as the current title is a good, clean Ohio title and it has the numbers from this motorcycle on it, this scooter on it. Because not having a title shoots you in the foot so hard. It is worth $400 because the amount of games that I have played in the past 20 years of my life, waiting for this idiot to bring me a title, waiting for that guy to bring me a title. I gave you a title. No, you didn't give me a title. Here's the title there. There's the title. Where's the title? Who's got the title? I gave you the title. It's in the owner's manual. $400. You have a title. And it's the most bulletproof title you're ever going to hold. This is a great example of how we can change the value of a vehicle hard to the negative for no title.
but let me ask you something.
Yeah.
So you some super Vespa fan,
Yep.
like makes everybody here look like they're okay, right?
Yeah.
They go out and they buy this thing. Since you're saying that, like, there's nothing available for this thing.
No, there is.
Can you actually ride it?
So we've got friends in our community that do nothing but this bike, this one bike.
Okay.
And there are panels now that are being remanufactured for this bike. There are pieces for this bike that fell out of production and somebody went and bought the tooling because they're so passionate about this bike.
Okay, so like if you got it, you could ride it a little. Like you could ride it.
I would honestly ride this bike. And it would break my heart the first time I scratched it or dinged it or dented it, but I'd still ride it. Because you guys have seen that bike that I ride that's got the tikis painted all over it, and it's kind of rusty and white. This bike is a GS Mark 1. That bike is a GS Mark 2.
Yep.
Right.
So is it more desirable? Well, it has a real glove box. This has a little door in the back of the frame.
That typically rots out because it fills with leaves and water.
Yeah. But the Mark 1 is more desirable because there were so few of them made. And truly, when this bike was built, this thing was obscenely rare.
Yeah.
And it didn't get any less rare over time.
I always have to counterpoint things.
Yeah, please do.
And I will preface this by saying I wouldn't touch this bike for any dollars
Yeah.
just because it doesn't have a title.
Yep.
The problem here is that he's trying to sell it on Marketplace in Cleveland, I presume, right?
That's where the listing is.
Yeah. So don't do that.
Don't do that.
You should be listing it on Marketplace in Indiana.
Or
some other state where they don't even give a fuck about a title.
Absolutely.
If you go up to New Hampshire, California, a lot of states, it's like, we don't even want that title.
Yeah.
We just take it. We just go into the DMV and they'll just give us a title.
Texas.
Yep.
A good example of that.
What I wonder about this, because we've seen the past couple of years how much idiots bid Viet Bodges up on Meekum.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that.
I wonder, because this is the real deal. The only thing that's wrong with this bike that keeps it from being 100 point is that it's painted red and not the original white. And
Well, Tom, I got bad news for you.
they came in red?
This was red.
This was red.
Yeah, this was red.
That is uber red.
Yeah. So this bike was red.
No.
So this bike
that
was
makes
red.
it even rarer than
Yeah.
the white, because the white one is every one I've ever seen has been white. But since it is the red, now I wonder what would happen if you took it to Meekum.
Right.
Boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
But here's the when he
hey.
says, and now going to John's point,
Yeah.
rare, 29,000. 29,000 isn't rare, but it's rare when the model you made after this you made 125,000 of.
Yeah.
Right. So rare, 29,000. So that's
How many are survivors, though?
That's-
That's
Yeah.
the bigger question.
Yeah.
Because like I said, every one of these I've ever seen has been white. That's why I said I've never seen one in red, let alone had somebody repaint it in red.
Well, this I had 3 of these in my shop, and one guy from Canada came down and bought all 3 of them. And now, when I say 3 of them, these were just frames.
Yeah.
These were just rusty frames, the occasional fork, maybe a motor, and I had put 3 of them together, listed it up on eBay,
Course.
Yep.
and watched these guys go apeshit. And the winner came from Quebec. And Quebec. And he came all the way down and he couldn't give me his money fast enough. And I was a little bashful in the deal. I was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this guy's willing to pay for this." And of those 3 bikes, he restored one of them to be chef's kiss. And then the other 2 he just parted out. And this bike has a cult following.
Yeah.
There's absolutely a cult following. So it's really cool. But I'm so happy he kept it because I know that he was going to sell all his bikes, and I really did think that this had just disappeared to the ether. I had no idea this bike was still hanging around Cleveland. And I'm glad it was. I'm glad it is still hanging around Cleveland. Meekum will not, I looked it up, Meekum will not sell you a bike or sell a bike or a car or a boat if it doesn't have a title.
Yeah.
So this is useless to any of the reputable auction sites because the first thing they don't want to be complicit in a crime.
They don't want to get rolled up in somebody else's shit
Drama.
show.
Despite the fact
Yeah.
that Meekum constantly contributes to fraud by selling Vietnamese restorations.
No, they're not contributing to fraud. Let the buyer beware.
That's true.
If you're buying a 1965 Corvette on Mecum, don't you think you'd better know something about 65 Corvettes?
Right, but also, I mean, like if you're a dude who's a Corvette guy and you want a matching scooter,
Right.
It's just a restoration to him.
Yeah.
He doesn't know it's a bot. Like, you
No,
know what I mean?
it's-
Like,
And honestly, I've dealt with these folks before. That bike's never going to run.
yeah.
Yeah.
That bike's going to be parked in the corner of his
Yeah.
Route 66 themed garage.
Right.
It'll be next to the jukebox he doesn't listen to. Yeah.
Can you take out all the stuff that could leak before I bring it inside, please?
Don't you?
Right.
I wonder if I know the guy who took all the fluids out of this bike.
The Cleveland shop.
The Cleveland
The
shop
Cleveland
that took
shop?
every drop of fluid out of this bike.
That means the seals haven't been oiled in at least 10 years.
I fogged the inside of this bike with wax oil.
Yeah.
I assure you, we could have that bike started in 5 minutes. There's no doubt in my mind that a splash of gas and 3 kicks, that thing is going to start.
Is it stock motor and everything?
It's
or-
amazing.
Yeah.
It is amazing. And when he says that it might have 50 miles put on it, he's not kidding. It might have 50 miles put on it. I would go to his house once a year to winterize his bikes, and I would go there again. He lived in a mansion on Bracknell.
If there only was a place to find a story about
That was the
him.
Tom Jones fella, right?
Yeah.
And so I went in there in the springtime and I'd wake all his bikes up, which meant I got to ride 6 amazingly cool motor scooters and motorcycles too. He had a Cushman Eagle that was a beautiful bike. I've never say anything nice about Cushman Eagles, but it was fucking gorgeous. Yeah. He had a purple P200 too that was his daily beater that was fully modded out, like 6 mirrors, 8 mirrors.
Nice.
But it was like this bass boat purple.
Oh.
That, I gotta say, it was fetching. Despite as ridiculous, it looked like a goddamn Jogga Lake ride. But it was cool.
What was
it was neat.
Oh, man. Every hot rod or something's always called something grape. Like grape ape or grape.
Kevin Moore.
Grape was a thing.
Kevin Moore.
Statutory grape.
That's what Kevin Moore
Statutory
called it.
grape.
That's what he said. He said statutory. The first time he said that, I lost my mind. I was like,
Statutory grape.
You got to get consent to go slap that fucking statutory.
That's it. So tonight, everybody got to ride the ADV 150 from Honda.
Yeah.
ADV 150 from Honda. And we'll go around. Dan, what did you think about it?
I didn't go very far, but it really eats up the bumps. I mean, I've ridden a bunch of the bikes you brought here on the cobblestone down the end of the block, and it does a pretty good job.
Tom's street is asphalt, but it joins up to a very old brick street.
Oh, yeah. The cobblestones at the end of the...
It's violent.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a tough street.
I mean, if you've ridden another scooter on that street, this one would seem amazing.
Yeah, there you go.
Tom lives adjacent to the Appian Way.
It's just under the aqueduct.
I am actually really surprised, because given this neighborhood, I am surprised that street is brick.
I think that street is brick out of this funny sense of like history or something.
Like, it's the only street in the area that I've come across, because I've walked the neighborhood.
My street was originally brick.
Right,
And
yeah.
when they came to redo it, there was a whole thing and we had meetings and I was part of I want it to be brick. I want to keep it brick.
Right.
In fact, I didn't want them to fix it at all because I loved that it was brick because you couldn't speed up
I
and
was
down
gonna
it.
say, it keeps
because
people
it was,
slow.
Oh, yeah.
It was worse. It had holes and all kinds of, like if you went more than 25 mile an hour up and down that street, you didn't have an oil pan.
Yeah, but the plow truck drivers could blast those bricks.
When I couldn't fight them actually doing the work, I tried to get people to be convinced to do brick. And everybody on the street would have had to pay like $500 more
to fix it.
to have a brand new brick street. I'm like, wouldn't that be cool? Your house value would be more like we'd be the special
It'd
street.
be a sexy street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. Let's do concrete. That was the cheapest. Whatever the cheapest is, let's do the cheapest.
There's a
That's-
neighborhood where your daughter used to go to school. There's a neighborhood in Cleveland by my shop that has like 6 or 8 brick streets in a row, too. So there's this part of this West Park neighborhood's got several of these streets that have maintained that, and Chris nailed it. I have seen the snowplow catch a brick and go through a car. The fact that they haven't just immediately gone through and just been like, bricks are a bad idea. They're incompatible with snowplows. But I gotta
Those
wonder,
bricks
like,
were like 100 years old. My house was built in
Right.
1922. So you have to figure that those bricks had been there for almost 100 years.
Well, yeah.
Plow trucks and everything like that. The only problem with the street was when the city came along and dug it up and repaired the water pipes and stuff. They didn't replace the brick properly. You know
so
what
they
I mean?
patched it.
Yeah, they fucked it up.
That's how you fuck it up. Yeah, well, it's true. And riding, when you're hell-bent for leather and you hit the end of Tom Street and make a left or a right, the world comes at you pretty quick.
Yep.
It's just, you're
Don't use the front brake.
don't ever touch the front.
No.
Dude, do you think Honda meant? So when you look at that thing,
Yeah.
it looks like a lady's head's up and her arms are back and she's flying.
What?
Like, look around the top, like the middle right there. It's like a robot head with the arms coming down.
Nope.
And going no.
Nope. Again, that is the
Yeah.
best argument for weed ever. Because you are seeing shit that isn't there.
No, I mean, come on.
A
Look.
flying maiden head.
Yes, look, like the little silver thing that comes down, her arms come down like that. Like kind of like
It looks like a mermaid.
That's the problem, is this bike doesn't have any boobies. So, Steve, what was your impression of riding the ADV 150?
I thought it was really nice. It had kind of the same power and speed of a Buddy, maybe even a little better, but I think that might be because of the variator or whatever is done to it.
And I will explain. Thank you for bringing that up.
Yep.
The previous owner of this bike had changed the variator to a Malossi Multivar, which is Malossi makes a lot of performance parts for automatic transmission scooters. They went to a race-style clutch, which turns the stall. So normally a bike like this would engage the transmission. The back tire would start moving at about 2,200 RPM. And on this one, you have to get that RPM much higher, so you're hitting harder. They call it a hit clutch. So instead of getting the back tire moving at some 22 or 2,300 RPMs, now it's got to go to 3,000, 4,000 RPM, not 4,000, but pretty high, to get that back tire to move. So you are engaging, and it's literally like letting the revs go up higher before you drop the clutch. That's the effect. And it does make the bike launch quicker, right? We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. So, I mean, but you could feel that hit. Like, so it hit harder than like a Buddy.
Yeah.
But then the better part about this bike was that it felt bigger. It just felt like a motorcycle. Like you were saying, when you went down the cobbles or whatever, didn't even feel them. It just felt like you're riding a motorcycle. Where I mean, on the Buddy, you'd feel it's the whole fucking
yes.
way, right?
Absolutely.
So this thing coming around feels like a motorcycle. It brakes like the Buddy. There's times when like you're using all of the horses, and all of a sudden you have to stop, and you're like, okay, I think I got this covered. I think we're okay here. Whereas on this thing, I grabbed a handful of brake and I stopped. Like it was stopped quickly. So like, yeah, I was really impressed, and it's comfortable. It's it has to be. I don't know what the wheelbase is, and I don't know what the foot the butt ratio is.
Yeah.
But it's got to be easily 15% more relaxed than a Buddy or smaller scooters like that. So yeah, I liked it a lot. I thought it was awesome.
That's cool. John, what did you think?
I really do echo what Cinch is saying about this bike. It does, the power delivery feels a lot like a Buddy. I think a Buddy has a little more rant, but that's just me. I love that. It's got a little more, well, but it's just perkier. Like, and it's weird that you'll never match a 125 Buddy for that. Like it just, it's. So I did not like the stall, the clutch on it at all, because it's an ADV. So when I did the trials course in Tom's backyard, it was really difficult to, like keeping it in the rev range and keeping it moving. When I want to be able to
out of the poo.
Yeah, I did a little burnout in the poo. I mean, it was good for that, but whatever. It just but it did have a lot more room. And I think though what you're finding out with riding on the cobblestones is that this has a 13 in the back and a 14 in the front.
That's nice.
So that's what's really making all the difference over a Buddy, which has 10-inch wheels and tires on it.
Yeah. And that is the 10-inch wheels and tires. Boy, that really does, that holds a bike back.
I'm still mystified why it needs a fob when there's still like a switchy thing, and why
a key fob.
It didn't just get a key fob.
It would just be better with a key.
Yeah,
with just a traditional key.
I'd have been happy with just a key.
And I think that my feelings on that, now that I've been dealing with key fobs on certain bikes for over 5 years, and I have never, not once ever, said, I'm so happy this has a key fob. I have had numerous customers. I've had to go pick up bikes out of people's driveways because the battery died in their key fob. That's not great.
It's not like it's got push button start where you just have to, key fob in your pocket. You walk up to the bike, boom, start it up.
No, you have to mechanically turn a thing.
Do a key switch type maneuver.
Exactly.
So,
and a lot of them do work that way. Yeah, a lot of them do work that you still have to mechanically turn a thing that is just a key simulation that you're just electronically gatekeepered away from starting the bike.
Have to solve the Rubik's Cube.
It's the worst of every world. You know, like I just want to have the fob in my pocket, and if I approach it and say, it starts right up.
Right. Well, and
I don't even have to touch it.
Right. My Harley works that way. So my Harley
How about when I sit on it, it starts up.
Yeah. Right. Right. If you have the fob.
When you sit on it, Jen, it gives up.
I did hear a little crunch. But let's go ahead and speak to that. I bounced up and down on it a little bit, and it wasn't bottoming out or anything.
Yeah, so. And the suspension is in the factory setting. It's not jacked up in any way. It's just the way it is. Chris, what'd you think?
I don't have too much extra to add after Cinch.
Okay, Pete, what do you think? No.
However, I did think as I was driving around West Park in the dark, it's I think visible to opposing drivers, both changing lanes and turn signals and that. So that's visibility around here in non motorcycle times of the year is important. So I thought it was very visible, it was comfortable, and got up and got away.
I noticed it did have the aftermarket black tape on the left front turn
Yes,
signal.
it does, doesn't it? Yeah, I have a feeling that it may have gotten away from the previous owner. The previous owner did put an
He
aftermarket.
screwed it into the ground.
Yeah, he might have. He said, and there's corroborating evidence that he, whilst putting it in his trailer, his tie-down straps relocated his left turn signal, and there is the commensurate damage on the bike from the tie-down straps. People, take an extra fucking 5 minutes when you tie your bikes down to make sure the straps aren't literally riding across the plastic, because those scars don't heal, and they'll be on your bike forever, and it will depreciate your value when you're selling it to me. Just a tip. He probably, if there wouldn't have been the scratches on that bike, he might have got an extra $600 out of me.
Has a motorcycle ever been built that actually had little loops or something you could just hook your thing? We talked about the jack circle, but just a little place right here, like dook, dook, and there you're good.
Built-in tie-down points.
Yeah,
where they should be.
Yeah,
right.
Your buddies at Janus have those.
Oh well, there we go. Another good reason why we both love Janus.
My military KLR 650.
I love your Janus.
And the military KLR 650 and my MT500 military prototype all have multiple rigging points, because those are both military vehicles that are designed to go into attack helicopter, or not into cargo helicopters and into cargo aircraft. So part of the DoD's spec in building the bike was there had to be a number of places where you could both tie it down and drop it, airdrop it. So it's kind of interesting that when companies build a bike for the military, they do include those things, but they would never do that for us. So God bless them. So that's it. What'd you think, Pete?
I'm going to say I recognize the Honda build quality. It starts, runs, stops as it should. It's not for me.
Yeah.
I would like to throw a leg over the ADV 750 scooter at some time, which is not available in this country. But as a basis of comparison, what's sitting in my garage right now is a Honda Monkey 125,
right,
which I think is more sporting than this. Now, it's a different machine, obviously. And then my F800 GSA BMW, which I rode for about 200 miles today. So, big wheels, plush suspension on the F800. And then getting on this, it's probably a little unfair comparison. But, it's a solid around-town bike, this ADV 150. But I don't foresee one in my garage.
Right. I get that. I totally get that. You mentioned the ADV 750. We would be remiss if we did not at least pull up a picture of it for your stroking enjoyment, because it is pretty special. And again, way to go, Honda America. There's no chance in shit of us getting this bike anytime in the near future.
No, I guess while you're... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, there is one in here. A dude got it in from France into Florida, got it titled, and I almost bought it a couple years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He had it. It was on ADV Rider. He moved to Florida, had it titled here, and then he got called back to Europe. and he didn't think he could get it switched back to the European title, so he was able to sell it down in Florida.
There's guys that have ridden these in legit, like off-road rallies and competed well.
Really?
Finished in the money.
Yep. Yeah, these things are sick. They're basically an NC 750.
Yeah, but
The DTC version of the NC 750 with no frunk and like a leg over.
and they do only come as a DTC, correct?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. There's
okay.
no shifting.
Yeah, because it's like that Italjet Dragster is going to be with a 6-speed transmission. It's
Right.
it's going to be a scooter, but it's going to have a motorcycle transmission. In it.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's very exciting. For me at least, that's kind of cool when you look at something like this and go, oh yeah.
But everybody was pissed the fuck off that even this thing, because like those wheels would be great for the fucking Africa Twin. You know what I mean? They have those outside spoke. They're fucking tubeless. But the Africa Twin still has the center fucking hub.
You're right.
So when it came out, we're like, okay, well, we're not getting the scooter, but can you at least fucking sell us
Can you at
the
least give us
wheels?
the wheels? That's exactly right. Oh, man, I hadn't thought about that.
I mean, it is a smaller front, but for road riding, fuck it.
Fuck it. Yeah, I totally.
Make your Africa Twin into a supermoto.
Yeah, super tard. No, that's
That's
just
what
a guy on it.
That's pretty fucking cool. Yeah. So super badass. I love the idea of the ADV 750 just because it's so fucking weird. I know that it's not what I would not want a 750cc scooter as such. I would much rather have your motorcycle. I'd much rather have.
I fell over on my motorcycle today, though.
What?
I wouldn't fall over on this. I had to step off of it.
How did you fall over? It's a beautiful day.
I was on a muddy road, and actually, I was on this muddy road that said closed to all traffic, and I passed like 6 cars down there. One of the cars I passed was a FedEx truck coming the opposite direction.
Wait, on the road that said do not.
Yeah, and there's a mud puddle. It's like 3 feet deep, and there's still ice on it because it's in the shade.
Right.
And there's this like 20-year-old girl driving this FedEx truck, and
Yeah.
I said, I think you could get through there. I said, you want me to turn around and I'll pick a line through it, and you'll see
Right.
how deep it is. And then as I tried to turn around, I promptly fell over.
Oh, so you weren't in the puddle when you
No,
fell over?
no.
You were just making a slow speed turn. And,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The front
Did
wheel-
she jump out of the truck and laugh at you and start kicking dirt on you?
She backed up.
I would have.
She backed up past me, and then she backed about a mile out this one-way dirt road. Yeah, she backed the whole way out
What
there's
the
no. There was
fuck?
it was like the road was like a causeway. There was swamp. It was in Killbuck Creek. There's south of here, just south of Worcester, and it's like swamp on both sides of the road. And there was not width to turn around, so she backed all the way out of there. So.
Okay.
Dude, that's risky. I mean, like, so you were out today. It was not warm.
No.
Oh,
And so if you were going through
today.
2 foot of water, that's pretty because if you got wet out there, that's a cold ass ride back.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, speaking of not warm today, I looked at the thermostatic device on my phone, and I was like, it's going to be 55 today.
Yeah.
I am riding in.
Shorts, Hawaiian shirt, you were ready to go.
Yeah, oh yeah. And I mean, I got my winter pants on. I got I have gear, so I geared the fuck up. And when I left my house, it said 38.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy, it better heat up a whole lot between here and
You better go fast.
Yeah, better go fast. And I was on the ADV, right? So by the time I got to the shop, and I test rode 8 bikes today, right? I was back and forth to the gas station 8 times, rocking around the neighborhood, having a great old time. And at the middle of the day, sun's on my face. I was feeling fantastic. No helmet, light pair of gloves on. And I'm just like, this is fucking great. And then by the time I came over to here, well, the sun went away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you take away that space heater and we are just fucked again. And it got chilly quick. And I'm looking forward to tonight's ride home.
Yeah, it's not going to be good.
I'm going to stop at my shop and get a different helmet.
I was going to tell you because like when I left it was 13 degrees warmer here.
Yeah.
Like when I left my house, it was already down to 41.
We have the lake keeping us warm.
Yeah.
Yeah. The lake does heat sink for us a little bit. Yeah, it was pretty nipplish out there. It's not going to. Tomorrow's supposed to be nice too. Though,
I was
so.
out from 12 to 4. That
You
was
were?
like the sweet spot.
That is the sweet
It was
spot.
like in the 50s the whole time.
Yeah. Everybody who has a motorcycle in Cleveland had it out today, I swear.
I saw quite a few guys out on the road. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew I was in good form when I was shooting down the road on the ADV, and going the other way was an Africa Twin. And he gave me the big, he was so excited to see another ADV bike. And then he realized what it was.
Yeah.
So he got to that 3/4 point where he realized it wasn't a motorcycle, because the front of that damn thing looks just like a motorcycle. Like, they've gone to a lot of effort to make sure that thing does not look like a scooter. And when he saw that I was on a 150cc scooter, he was like, oh, that's still cool.
The cool thing would be to show up some kind of a adventure rally on one of these 750 adventure scooters, and guys are like looking down their nose at you because they're on their like KTM 1190 Supers or something.
I would be having the 150 badges on this one.
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. And then
I would be having the 150 badges.
passing these guys in like gnarly stuff
and parking on the sidewalk.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I would be all over that idea. That would be the best thing. Yeah, what do you mean? No, it's a moped.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're cool. The I was very much. I'm looking forward to riding tomorrow too. I'm going to enjoy that. I'm going to enjoy that quite a bit. It's Christmas time at the shop. We had one dude, and I always tell the story every year. I will always give you guys the report. The ClevelandMoto Christmas Miracle. I had a guy call me fucking drunk. Fucking drunk.
You were or he was?
He was. But I got
Even
drunk.
worse.
But I got drunk later, Pete.
Okay.
He called up. When somebody goes online, you can actually use the Vespa website, and you can think that you're buying a scooter online. It'll even take your credit card number. You're not really buying a scooter online. But what you're doing is they're letting the dealer know. They're forwarding all that information to their local dealer. And their system is kind of lame, because you'd think that if you went on this computer right now and said, I'd like to buy this red Vespa, whatever, that I would get an email instantly, because that's how fast email works. But no, Vespa for some reason sits on it and lets it cruising or something for like a week or two. You know,
Cruising. I
really
like it.
jumps right on. Jumps right on our people that want to spend money, because nothing like a good lead than letting it sit, right? So good marketing plan, guys. You're really helping me out.
It's called letting the market mature.
It is letting the market mature. And so when I call these people, 90% of the time they're like, "About time you fucking called me." Right? Well, when I called this guy, it happened to be like, hold on, turn the band down. Okay, we got Vespa. Yeah. I said, you sent an order in for 6 Vespa 50s. Are you building a ride?
Is this the Shriners or something?
That's what I thought he was going to make a carousel or something. I was like, 6 Vespa 50s. So you have 5 friends and you don't want to go fast.
Oh, that's funny.
Do you have a community on Put in Bay on the island or something? Like, what's your deal, man? And so
They're Quakers.
Yeah, they're Quakers. And he was so like
Oneida.
he was so genuine about the entire thing. He's like, no. I decided this year I'm buying everybody in my family a Vespa.
All right.
But I had there was that little hint of like he was speaking in cursive, right? Just a little hint of the schlish and the slosh, and he'd been drinking. And I looked down and it was 4:36 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Party flags flying.
Yeah.
Wet Brain Wednesday.
And so I kept getting details from him, things you have to give when you're buying a vehicle. And all the things where somebody who's not really ready to make the purchase, they normally fade on, he was powering right through. Social security number? Yeah. Okay. Do you want me to title these all in your name, or do you want them to be in the names of the individual recipients? Well, why does that matter? Well, you do need to put license plates on these. I need to put license plates on these fucking things? Yeah, you do.
That's handled by a different department, however.
This guy, so we eventually discover that we're going to do them in 6 different names. Now, if you've ever tried to get a drunk to give you his phone number,
Oh, geez.
Chris couldn't give me his wife's phone number earlier.
Right. Yeah.
He tried 3 times. We called 2 different people.
He just
I
knew
think he just
better.
called Chris a drunk.
No, he was sober.
That was the problem. Is he was sober.
But this fella is trying to give me. He was trying to give me phone numbers.
Did you check his underwear? She usually writes it in there.
Denise is on it. The
If found, please call.
front back. But the guy did. We somehow muddled through this conversation. We've somehow muddled through a purchase order. And I said, it's okay if I hit your credit card 6 times for these deposits, right? Yeah, it's fine. It's no problem. And I said, well, what's your what's your email address? And I'm not going to say the name of his company, but you might have heard of it. And I was vetting him in this conversation because I knew there was a party going on. And I think he might have been showing off a little bit at the party. About like, hey, I just ordered a box of toilet paper from Amazon. It's going to be here tomorrow. He just ordered 6 Vespas in the same amount of effort.
Yeah.
Okay. Dude follows through on the credit card numbers. Yeehaw. Says they must be in my driveway December 23rd. And I went, okay, we can do that. And I got off the phone with him because he was hammered and losing patience. I called him back 2 days later. I said, there is absolutely no way on God's green earth I can get you 6 Vespa 50s by December 23rd. The world doesn't work that way.
How many were in your pocket at the time?
One. We keep 1 Vespa 50 in my shop for just that reason. Because Vespa makes me keep one. But because there's always somebody who's like, I want one for a raffle prize. Oh, you want a Vespa? Yeah, but I don't want to spend any real money, so give me the Vespa 50. We don't care who the winner of this raffle is going to be. They'll just trade it in for a 150 later. So I called the guy back. I gave him, 2 days to marinate on it. We made sure his deposit went through. I finished vetting him and looking up his entire family history and his company's history and everything else to make sure that this was the guy, right?
Are deposits refundable?
No. Not according to Judge Judy or People's Court, Judge Milan. But here's the fun part. I called him back and I said, hey, 2 things. Your group of 6 people that you're buying these Vespas for. I don't want to be rude, but are anybody in the group around 200 pounds? Why? Well, because a Vespa 50, she don't like anybody over 200 pounds. And if you're going to be on the streets, like a 35 mile an hour street, a Vespa 50 might eventually get up to 35 miles an hour. Eventually. If you have a big run-up area in a week. And he went, oh. And I said, are you planning on taking these down the hill into the metro parks? He lives in the metro parks. And he goes, I have to take them down the hill into the metro parks. And I've already Google Earthed his house. His driveway's a better part of a mile long. And it's fucking steep, right? And it's got twists and turns and shit. And I was like, okay. He goes, yeah, my driveway is. I said, yeah, okay, then. Do you know that for only $1,300 more per bike, we can upgrade you to a 150 that I have 62 of in stock? And I won't have to call anybody.
They can be there by the 23rd.
Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah.
Goddamn-teed. And he was just the happiest guy ever to spend an additional $9,000. Game on. I've never...
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Wait. This will be my shining star on top of the tree.
Oh, yeah.
Example for the next several years about anybody who comes into my shop that takes longer than 40 minutes to buy a bike. Because this guy outfitted his family with 6 Vespas, drunk, over the phone, sight unseen. That dude has power. That dude has balls. Yeah. That dude pulled it off like a pro. And I got people coming in having a 17-minute conversation about red seat, black seat, or brown seat. Like, just fucking pick one, man. I'll bolt it on for you.
I know people couldn't order a meal in a restaurant for 6 people in 40 minutes.
Dude, I bought a house on mushrooms in 40 minutes.
I bought this house in 40 minutes, for sure.
Yeah.
The house
For
was
sure.
on mushrooms?
Oh,
No, I was. I told you guys. It was awesome. I was like, you know what? I'm never buying another house. This is going to be my last house. I've done this before.
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to be fucked up. So I snacked on a few little mushrooms. It was a good enough fun time.
Well, I mean, the best part literally was you sent me a picture. You sent me the listing, and I went, Phil, I can't afford a down payment. He says, it doesn't matter. I own it.
It's already been purchased. It's already been owned. Yeah. That bird's flown, baby. That bird is gone.
It's like, well, I guess I'm not getting out of this.
Okay.
I'm looking at Cinch's speed loader for his vaporizer.
No shit. He does have a speed loader.
Yeah.
So what the fuck?
Keep it going. You got your shells, dude. See?
Oh, you do have shells. You're loading that thing up like it's a goddamn blunderbuss. You got a ramrod for that?
Yeah, there you
Nice.
go.
Nice. All right. If you have a computer and you like motorcycles, you have been unable to ignore this past week a thing called the Elephant Treffen.
Yeah.
The second reference to that today.
Well, that's, you say that, and until you guys brought it up, I hadn't seen it. But after I saw it, I was really into it.
So,
My
really cool.
buddy, I got a buddy in Seattle. He texted me this afternoon about 2:00. He said, "Have you ever heard of the Elephant Treffen?" I was like, "Of course I have."
of course I have.
Go ahead.
Exactly. Of course. That's the only right answer, by the way. Of course I have.
Have you not?
What rock are you living under, weirdo?
I responded to him. It is one of the OG ADV events.
Yeah, it really is. And so here's what I have to say. I have fucking wanted to do the Elephant Treffen since I found out it existed when I lived in Germany a long time ago. I have had the weirdest boner for this. And Pete, go ahead and tell us what you know about it. Tell the people at home.
It's someplace down in Bavaria in the foothills of the Alps.
It's in the something cauldron. The witches, the devil, something cauldron, like the witches
The
cauldron
frozen tit.
in Bavaria, but they only give you coordinates. It's not even a town. It's
Well,
just,
they have it in the winter, and it's in the Alps. So let's start there.
yeah.
That's a good place to start.
Guys generally show up.
In the Alps is always a good place to
Sidecars
start.
are very popular there. So one, so that you can bring all the shit you're going to need to stay warm, and two, so you don't fall over in the snow.
But you know what? You know what's really awesome about it though? They unlike Mid Ohio and places, they stipulate no fucking side by sides, no four wheelers, no cars of any kind, and if it's three wheels, it can be decided whether or not it's acceptable by your peers.
Oh, really? Yeah. Well, that's interesting.
You can be voted off the island.
Yeah. Sorry. Okay.
I've seen guys
as you were
bring like
saying-
sidecars full of like hay. And
Oh,
like,
yeah.
They bring like
I think it said no MP3s.
Did it really say that?
I mean, that's
It
literally.
said no three-wheel Vespas.
Oh my God.
What am I going to do after I get it running, though?
I don't care. I'm actually really happy that they made that rule. I know that's going to make me the
Elephant
fucking
Treffen.
devil to a lot of people.
Well, see, right there is a
honestly-
right there sidecar.
that looks like one of the better years. From some of the footage I've seen, it's like you're up to your balls in snow.
Yeah, for real.
I mean, not just any sidecar. That's a Ural.
well,
Like an old one.
I'm almost convinced that this rally has been happening for well over 30
And
years
another sidecar
to
behind
give people a place to use their Urals.
I'm pretty sure it's 50 years this year. I think it's the 50th
Is it?
anniversary. I think.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I read.
When I
that.
lived in Germany, it was happening, and I had some friends that went, and they said, "Phil, you must come with us to Elephant Treffen. You will love it. It's great." And I had a 1969 BMW R69 at the time with two wheels and $8 tires, right? And they said, "No, you have army. You have all the army things. You have your tent. You have your suit to keep you warm. You will love this." And I said, "Where is it?" And at the time, we had just barely got done having a wall, right? The wall was still in talks. So there was a wall there. And they were having it so close to the wall.
To the Czech border, I thought it.
Yes,
I thought
it was
saying, yeah.
right by that Grafenwehr, Hohnsfeld, that Grafenwehr area, that beautiful Grafenwehr, Partenkirchen kind of beautiful area. And I said, "Oh, that sounds fucking great." And I talked to my...
Let's back that up one second.
Yeah.
Garmisch is
Garmisch, thank you. Garmisch, Partenkirchen.
Partenkirchen.
Garmisch.
Grafenwehr is a different place.
Right, that's right. Grafenwehr is, yeah. Yeah, you're right. But it's Garmisch. Garmisch was, yeah. But you're absolutely right. I should have fucking gone.
Yeah.
Because you don't go and then everybody comes back.
Yeah, now we want to go and you have to. Yeah, there's a lot of logistics now.
I was
Including freezing your ass off.
Yeah.
I was in the army. I could have literally been like, "It's a long weekend. See you guys. Tschüss, bis dann," right? And that would have been it. The guy comes back and he's like, "There was a guy who had a dirt bike with a sidecar that was made of wood. And
That was a canoe.
in the sidecar, he had 3 chickens. And every morning he had eggs for breakfast, and every night he had a chicken dinner
Nice.
for 3 nights. So he went in with 3 chickens and left with no chickens. And he said the road usually gets pretty beat up going in.
Breakfast and dinner. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said. He had eggs for breakfast every morning, and he had a chicken for dinner every night.
Microphonic.
Super easy. But here's what's fucking wild, though.
Touch the cable.
He burnt his sidecar. Because he said, historically speaking, when we go into this place, it's bad. It's tough. Bikes have problems getting into the destination. But after 3 days of assholes coming and going, it gets pretty beat down. And the snow isn't there anymore. It's just mud. So he said, usually when we leave, the sidecars are more of a hindrance than they are a helper. So on the way out, having one less wheel is not a bad thing. So the dude literally burnt his fucking sidecar as part of his, combustibles that he
Exit
went through.
strategy.
Genius. And he said he also had a spare wheel now for the bike should something happen on the way home. So this is an amazing event. There's just they lay down hay, so it's not, terribly, terribly awful.
Well, as you know, Piper's getting an exchange student in March. We're going to have and then she's going to go over there in June. And Peggy really fancies, she's like, I see all this stuff where, these people become lifelong friends with their exchange student families and stuff. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I mean, we have an extra house. So, like, hey, if you want to come from Germany and stay in our house, like, you just got to put us up when we come there. And
Fuck yeah.
who knows? Maybe, this kid comes over and her father's like a motorcyclist. I'm like, oh, well, bring your parents next time and you can have a bike. And when I come there, you can have a bike.
John, I like the watch.
Okay. I feel sorry for you, but
So
Don't blink.
the long and short of it is the elephant
this will only take a second. And, you're going to feel a pinch. It'll be over in 2 seconds.
just over a second. The long and short of it is
Once you get past the spell.
89 was the first year that these guys ran it, but it's been going on since 1956.
Yeah.
Wow, that far back.
Yeah, Elephant Treffen, and they said snow is guaranteed first weekend of February.
I could go for my birthday.
See, this is perfect.
You know what the Germans have yet to experience? The bourbon.
The Bourbon Ferry. Oh, I think the Bourbon
I
Ferry.
bet you that fucker would go over
be a
like a huge ball of fucking timber,
I thought
dude.
you were going to say a victory in World War.
Wow. The third one's coming up real quick. You might not want to go that way.
Oh man, I have to say, there is nothing about this event that bothers me. I actually enjoy hanging around in the cold.
And you say, and if you,
There will be fire.
that's what they say. So on the promotion that I saw,
There better be fire.
it said you will notice that there are no live bands or DJs or performances because there are none needed.
Yeah.
Because of the nature and conversations that take place.
Amen,
It said,
brother.
while walking around, enough nations are represented that you'll hear up to 10 different languages.
Yeah.
And in some camps, 3 different languages with people not speaking the same language and they're still talking.
That's great.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll meet you in Spanish.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, good luck.
So this is now our push for our new Patreon. So if you
Nah.
have a friend or a friend of
Yeah.
a friend
Yeah,
that has not yet listened to us being drunk, acting like jackasses.
If you know some rich guy that wants to set up 7 bikes and fly a bunch of dudes over.
Yeah. Yep.
roll.
That's I think the year that I didn't go, in retrospect, I think it was at Nürburgring. So I think the year that I didn't go, it was Nürburgring. I'm almost positive.
So they move it like
Nürburgring.
Yeah.
really far around.
Did I throw an extra N in there?
Nuremberg is where they had the trials after the
That's
war.
right. Right. Nürburgring. Right.
Yeah,
right,
I can
right.
tell you why I know this. Because
Yeah.
in 1986, when I was in Germany,
Yeah.
I got into country in April, and I'm going to say like May or June, one of the first times I'm going to go
Springtime.
exploring somewhere.
Yeah.
We're going to go to the Nürburgring to
Right.
watch the Grand Prix motorcycle races.
Fuck yeah.
I get on a train, and I go to Nuremberg.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I went the wrong direction.
Yeah,
So-
you totally did.
So from Frankfurt to Nuremberg, you're going southeast.
You're
and I
southeast.
needed to go kind of northwest.
Yes, you
to get
did.
To the Nürburgring.
Right, exactly.
A kind-hearted train conductor realized my mistake, did not charge me extra, told
He
me to get
turned
on
you
the
around.
get off the next platform, get on the train, go in the other direction, and I did make it to the
You did?
the Grand Prix in 1986. Yes.
So, but you didn't go to the Nürburgring,
No, I didn't.
which is a different racetrack.
correct. I
With
assume there's
a more storied history.
no. Yeah, right. Yes, I did not make that one.
It's
When somebody says, we're going to the Nürburgring, there may be a trials event, but when somebody says they're going to the Nürburgring, there's a trial, all right.
So you mentioned that, and apparently February 16th, which is coming up, that's exactly where it is.
Nürburgring?
It's Nürburgring.
Nürburgring?
Yeah.
Nürburgring.
So so I'm going to tell you guys, be careful, because there's more than one Elephant Treffen. That's right.
Really?
So that one.
Elefanten is plural
Elephant Treffen.
So
for elephant.
right. So Elephant Treffen, the Alta's Elephant Treffen is the Alta Cockers. That's the older event, and then this one that's getting all the press right meow is the one that's been running since 1980. Right. So yeah. Or, yeah.
I
So
like
think that's
I like the idea of southern Bavaria because when I was in Germany as an exchange student, we went to the Schwarzwald or the Black Forest.
Yeah.
And I vaguely remember that, but I just was like, oh, it's a town made out of cuckoo clocks.
yes.
Yes.
Literally. Like,
Every building is a cuckoo clock.
Yeah.
Just needs to be
but
mechanized. Yeah.
we were on a bus, but I just remember the bus ride just being scenic and beautiful and through forests.
Tom brought up a good point. He said February 16th. And yes, I did look up the dates, and it is that the Alta Elephant Treffen takes place 2 weeks after the Elephant Treffen, the rally. So there's the one happening where Chris had pointed out by the Czech border, and then there is another one 2 weeks later happening at Nürburgring. Nürburgring.
You know what's you know what's kind of neat about this? I think it kind of puts it over for me is the fact that a lot of these dudes probably just have their Elephant Treffen bike. Like we have our Mid Ohio
I
bikes.
think so, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they probably save up, build this shit all year, and that's their fucking bike to go to the rally. You know?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's their Mid Ohio bike, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It makes perfect sense because it is a specialized application of force, right?
I mean, they probably got spikes and fucking knobs.
For a
and
year,
all
I mean,
kinds
a
of
few
shit.
years ago. I mean, many years
Look,
ago.
the guy figured out how to take how many chickens he needed to take,
3.
and
Well, he
whether or
knew
not
how many
to-
days he's
to
going to be
make
gone.
the sidecar out of wood so he
Right.
could burn it.
Yeah.
like this guy had it down.
Honestly, that is the same level of preparation Steve puts into going to Mid Ohio,
Right,
Because I've seen what he puts inside of a Hyundai fucking Accent.
right.
Right.
I think you need a
The
tent.
car that keeps on giving.
You need a tent. You
Yeah.
need a good sleeping bag.
Right.
And a single burner stove.
Yep.
Yeah, but
And you'll be just fine.
I think you're right.
Cast iron pot.
Nope. Hey, Phil.
No.
I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
How many bottles of schnapps?
Okay, I'm gonna do the basic math here. 3 days. The snow, you can drink the snow. So the snow, you can use the snow for ice. You need 4 750 milliliter bottles of strong spirits.
Per day.
Rumpelmans?
You definitely need some 100+ proof
Yeah,
peppermint
yeah.
type schnapps
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But here's my thing is it takes a village. So in the takes a village concept, this is going to be like when you go to Weihnachtsmarkt and you get the little quarter on your neck with the little wine shot glass in it. And like people just fill that shit up for you. And I've been around Germans long enough to know that you'll never go thirsty.
Yeah.
So I think if you have 4 bottles, you're going to be enough to make sure that you can contribute to the party and also enjoy the party. I don't think you're going to need a lot beyond that. I might pick up about 4 feet of sausage.
A big chunk of cheese.
And a big old
Yep,
chunk of cheese.
yep.
Yeah. And it would be food that doesn't need to be heated so much.
Right.
But would be better if it were heated. Yeah. I don't think you need to go in there with your, Yeti cooler and all that like fancy camp and shit. I think this is a good spot for that spoon I gave you guys last week. That might be the only bit of kit you need.
So my glamping gear is
but
totally
dude,
out.
I have a feeling like every dude, like not every dude, but like guys, especially for years and years, I guarantee you a lot of dudes take pride in bringing a dish or like remember like our dude Mike who makes the sandwiches.
Oh,
like
there's one of those guys. There's one of those guys in every group, man.
Right.
Well, it's band camp where they have the lesbian potluck.
Right. That's true. That's absolutely true.
Like, this is totally a communal thing. You
Yep.
need a communal thing.
I'll bet you there's a group of guys that have been doing this for 40 fucking years,
Yeah.
and they just know, okay, he's going to bring 3 rabbits.
I bet you these guys are so down. They probably have tents that they set up
Hassenpfeffer.
together.
Just bring
and they-
4 MREs for you. One a day.
So you know that I used to go to rallies and stuff in Germany when I was in the military, and I would always, my preparation of going to a rally would be, I would jump on my bike, I would have whatever I was wearing, and I would take 4 or 5 MREs. And then I would stop at the Class 6 and pick up a couple, 3 bottles, and that was how I'd roll to every rally I ever went to. And when I got there, I don't think I personally consumed 1 calorie of 1 MRE, but it's the best trading fodder on the planet. So when the Germans who are going to the rally see you roll up and you bust out an MRE and you cut open that MRE, you have everybody's attention. And all they want to do is trade. And I'm like, okay, 4 or 5 MREs can actually go a long way. It's a lot of calories. And I would trade those things. And if you've ever been in the military, you'll know that the MRE it has negative dollar value. You know, you can't get rid of the things. And being able to take 4 or 5 of them to a rally and just be like, yeah, man, you've never had this? Sure, dog and vulture loaf, it's delicious. And you get traded real good food for it. Like never have to actually worry about a meal because people would just be like, oh, well, over here we're having this delicious thing. But also, it was the 80s, 90s. Your average German punk rocker could run for 3 days on absolutely no food whatsoever. Like just beer. Just straight up liquid lunch, liquid dinner, the whole deal. Never seen him eat a real calorie.
We used to go on canoe trips, and the most important thing was each of us, it was 4 days, we needed 4 cases of beer per man because we were going up for the May 2-4, which you're supposed to drink a 2-4 every day.
That's where you get your calories from.
We had all of our food eaten by maybe a bear or like 20 fucking raccoons. I don't know. All I saw was
in a bear suit.
Yeah, it was 20 raccoons in a bear suit. Right. It was called Super Tanuki. Raccoon bear dog.
But we were just fine because we had Labatt's 50
Oh, you were? Yeah. So we just that's 2 to 1.
Liquid bread.
and just build an amazing can pit.
Oh my God.
Fucking crushing them.
Wow.
Warm 52, not cold. You're not going to keep things cold for 4 days.
No, you're not.
And that would be
No.
the benefit of the Elephant Treffen is that
Yeah.
the food's not going to spoil. You can bring anything you want, and
Yep.
it's going to stay good because it's like
Beer's gonna be cold.
Yeah. I mean, you guys, I know a lot of people are like, oh, no, that's not for me. That's not for me. This is the first thing I've seen that is like, this is right up my goddamn alley.
You know, again, I have. So one of the few Patreons that I contribute to is a friend that does hammered dulcimer, but like Renaissance era dulcimer, and he goes and busks in Italy and all over Europe half the year, and then comes back and plays. And a lot of his Patreon money is for him to go and do this stuff. And so to look at this and go, well, you know, this would be a lot more content.
It would be.
A lot of content.
Yeah. It is, I'm not going to lie, every picture I look at is about 70% sidecars, right?
Yeah.
About 70%.
Well, that's how you carry your camping gear.
About 70% sidecars.
And
See,
what
I'd-
you burn for heat.
I'd want to go.
I'd be happy even going to this, riding in a sidecar to get there. I don't even have to just.
But you know, have you ever seen that shot of the dude on the GS, the old like 1100, and he's got like the skis built into the sides?
Yeah.
That's what I want.
And that is completely home confabulated.
Yeah,
like,
man.
There is no.
So this rally was started by Zundap sidecar guys back in '56.
Oh shit.
That tracks. That
that does
totally
make
fucking
sense.
tracks.
Like, haha, fuck you, motorcycles.
That's because you gotta. Let's see. You gotta fly there. Fly the closest airport to there,
Munich.
and
Yeah.
then buy a bike of dubious nature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just tried to buy like a 250 dual sport.
That's exactly
Right,
right,
yeah, man.
Yeah, that is exactly right.
And then you got to buy
Yep.
Pair of
whatever gear you
cross-country
don't bring
skis,
with you.
dude.
You got to stop off at the market.
I honestly think that, okay,
Oh,
we've ridden our little 12-inch wheeled bikes at Sleepy's property.
There you go.
In the snow, right?
Yeah.
And it goes from being hard to being broken. Like, it goes from hard to being not possible.
Yeah.
I tried to get my bike from your pond to your garage with carbide screws in the tires.
Right.
And I couldn't do it.
It was hard.
I could not fucking make it happen.
When
I
that
had
gets
no
to a-
problem.
Well, if you get to a certain level or a certain height, it ain't going anywhere.
Right.
It's not mooing.
Looks like a curling black label.
What do we have? So John has presented us each with a Santa Claus wrapped
Merry Christmas.
can of sorts.
Merry kiss my ass.
Okay. I have found testicle powder.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Testicle
no,
powder.
I
Cajun
know what this
two-step.
is. Fuck yeah.
What?
This was from our trip last. Oh, fuck yeah, John. Nice done. Nicely done.
That's money, dude.
This is good on anything.
Dude, we
Cajun.
Vegetables, fish, meat, whatever.
French
no,
fries.
Just eat it
too.
right out of the
I get
can.
it.
This is in
good on stuff.
and universal seasoning.
You good on stuffed cabbage?
Yes,
Yes.
it's good on stuff. It's good on
about to find out.
everything.
Because we
it
have
makes everything a
Becky
little bit
made
better.
us stuffed cabbage
Oh,
tonight.
yeah.
So we have stuffed cabbage
Hey,
for the group.
I did. I mean,
Thank you, John.
Put it on a steak.
Thank you.
I mean,
Put it on
I-
chicken.
I did just go. I just did just go back to the homeland.
Pop it open. Taste it.
Did go back to the homeland.
I'm not going to
last
taste
week.
mine because I'm riding a motorcycle home, so it'd be
And
messy.
in addition to bringing back some herb saint, I did bring back a fuck ton of crawfish sausage. So that's going to be the
nice.
next couple of weeks.
No, it says Cajun. It's not really hot. It's just flavorful.
It's flavor.
It doesn't have
No,
to be.
but when we were down at the Blue Ridge Mountains last year, John opened the cabinet, was like, "Fuck yeah!" And we're like, "What?" And he started putting this shit on everything.
Really? It
And
was
then
it was in the house.
Yep. And then he liberated the.
Like,
extra
oh, they got
one.
another brand new can back there. I'm
shit,
taking
bro.
this.
Shit, bro, that's out of Kentwood.
It's really good.
That's all right.
man.
You know what else out of Kentwood, right? Britney Spears. Is that it?
I have no idea what you're talking
I
about.
think so.
You
But
lost me.
Kentwood, Louisiana.
Okay.
Okay.
The interesting.
They make water. It's great.
Yeah, thank you, John. That's fucking cool, man. That's one of those things. Like the day I got introduced to tahini, my
yeah.
life changed.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Like the day I got introduced to adobo, my life changed.
I mean, broccoli.
There
Green
are
beans.
right.
It doesn't care.
Broccoli.
It doesn't.
It doesn't care.
They call that guy. That guy's
yeah,
called
no, bro.
stale cracker. He's like, you put this on a stale cracker to make it taste
Nah,
good.
bro.
That's what it says right on the back there. Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
I fucking like it. That's
damn.
badass, man. That is badass. I am
Oh, boy,
a fucking
Jano.
huge fan. Yeah, that's super cool.
I bet you it'd be good as a popcorn spice. Too,
Oh yeah,
man.
It definitely. I've done it.
Can you put that
that's
in your
pretty
vape
cool.
machine?
You don't want to. It's probably got mace in it.
Get a little capsaicin.
Little capsaicin for you.
So, you guys may recall, not that long ago,
That's some good stuff.
we talked about how CF Moto is just like fucking blowing up, man. Right? Well, they did announce that they are having a bit of a. Well, they're having a hierarchy change at CF Moto, and so you may have a new boss. If you're hearing this right now and you work at CF Moto, you may have a new employer. You may have a new boss. You may have somebody new because a lot of the management at CF Moto apparently is being rotated. So
Rotated.
They're rotated.
Turning you around and bending you over.
So basically, the CO Moto or Co-Moto family of brands, a leading force in the motorcycle aftermarket parts and apparel industry, announced today that Zach Parham has been elevated to the president and chief executive officer of Co-Moto in a succession plan that has been previously approved by the board of directors. Yay! Great. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about it. It's news. That's all I got.
Whatever you want, Pete.
Whoop.
I'll take any kind of beer
Take
I
any
can
kind of
get
beer you want to
here.
bring.
Bro,
Just not non-alcoholic.
for the record, I was on the money. Britney Spears
Pete, all the
is from
top
Kentwood,
ones. Those
Louisiana.
are all NAs. At
There
the
you
top.
go.
So yeah, bro.
You can have any of them, dude.
What is that?
The
Pete, is there a Christmas ale over there?
There might be some left.
Sorry.
Poor Pete's being.
People are hearing us.
I was going to say it's
We're on intermission. You just don't know it.
you just happen to be here.
Let's all go to the lobby. Pete, just throw him like you got a t-shirt cannon.
So I'm not sure if we read this, but we have podcast listeners and we have Patreon members.
Oh yeah.
And I want to make sure that no Patreon member doesn't get their fucking voice.
Absolutely.
If you're a Patreon member, I'm going to make sure you get your voice. Chris Brewer sent us a message, said, "Hey, did I not send you an email? And or did you not read it? Honestly, Chris, in all the confusion, I seem to have lost count. So did he fire 5 shots? Did he fire 6? I don't know. But here's what I do know is I'm going to read your email. Incoming hate mail.
Hey.
Here I was.
My favorite kind.
Yeah, that's why I exist. That's what I live for.
Here I was searching for you guys all around Barber, looking through every row of the swap meet.
Uh-oh.
I brought a southern delicacy called Conica sausage.
Conica. Yeah, the guys from Mobile always keep that at the front. Yeah.
But I guess it's true what they say.
No, I'm sorry.
Don't meet your heroes. Well, screw you guys. I love Barber. It's awesome.
Yes,
and
I
we
agree.
don't want Johnny
I agree.
Mac there anyway.
Yes. No bourbon ferry at Barber.
You've been disavowed, dude.
Conica.
Been what?
I can tell you I immediately am sorry because if you'd have brought some
Disavowed.
sort of special sausage,
No, Conica's good stuff.
it does make me wish I had met you.
The guys from Mobile always
I
have it.
fucked up at this point. He knew he fucked up.
Yeah.
I fucked up.
So,
Guys,
okay.
I'm gonna lead you down there by the nose next year.
We're not even a third of the way done yet, boys.
Correct. Let's
Okay.
go.
But something good did happen at Barber. My girlfriend has been getting interested, and she liked an SRF 135, which got me thinking, what would you suggest a good beginner bike for your girlfriend? SRF 135, Grom, TNT 135, which is the same as an SRF 135.
Yeah.
302S, or something else like the CB 500X.
I don't know. First, I'm going to need to see pictures of your girlfriend.
We're not doing that again, man.
Yeah, he started off with his girlfriend, then he goes to talk about motorcycles.
Look. Matt is a fucking Patreon member again. We are not.
Johnny,
are not going back down that road.
They give us money. Let's just go with that.
All right.
They give us money.
Matt, I love Barber. I've
We're
told you I
3/4
love
done.
Barber.
So, I mean,
Okay.
We're 3/4 done. I should have a little sign that says I'm not done reading yet.
Not done yet.
My FJ 09 and KLR are obviously way too big to start on. Also, I'm in Mobile, Alabama. Me and all my cousins listen to you. So you do have some fans down here in Alabama.
Nice.
oh, yeah.
Okay, Chris, you have brought up not only a valid question, because I'm going to assume based on your decision, your questions here, that your girlfriend is excited to ride motorcycles. She's not looking about scooters. She's not wanting an automatic because everything you've listed here is a transmission, right? And you've listed bikes from the Grom up to a CB 500X. So that's what you've told me the parameters are.
Yeah.
So gentlemen at the table, if you recommend a bike outside of those parameters, fuck you. I'm just going to say it right now. The rules have been established. SRF 135 or Grom up to CB 500X. Any answer or suggestion outside of those guidelines will be deemed to be bad protocol.
Don't need any.
Okay.
CB 500X, dude, all day long.
All day long.
With the lowering link, if she's smaller on it, it's completely manageable power. If you've ever ridden one, first gear is manageable because it's made for kind of going off road. So it's not going to just flip over on you when you crack the throttle.
Right.
It's not super heavy,
Yep.
but it's also stable because it has a bit of weight. So as you get a little faster, it's not going to be as nimble and nibbly like, as like a little 135 or a TNT could be. But more importantly, I think what a lot of people don't get is like we all, Chris, me, everybody has a TNT 135.
Right.
It's an awesome bike. It's a great, I love that bike.
But it's a great third bike.
Exactly.
It's a great
All right.
third bike.
No, but even if you live in the city where you don't have to go long distances,
Right.
what that bike won't do for you, especially as a new rider, is get you out of trouble if you need to get out of trouble quick.
Damn straight.
And so, like, I think sometimes people
Preach.
almost people tell people to get a small bike for their first bike,
Mm-hmm.
but a lot of times that if you don't have like the riding skills and the fortitude to look out and see like, hey, I got to pay attention to this shit and stuff, you're going to get in trouble. And I think a bigger bike like that gets you out of that trouble, and it's seen better than a smaller bike too.
I got your answer.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yamaha TW200. Low seat height.
That's
stable.
outside of the
You
thing.
might have beaten me.
Same problem with the TNT 135 though. Like, don't take it on the freeway.
You can gear them up. Hell,
Okay.
I rode mine.
Yeah, I know.
I was all over the whole country on that thing.
Yeah.
It's. I had like 20,000 miles on 3 different ones.
Yeah.
500X, man, all day.
I had one.
I
of
was
those
going to
too.
say the XR150L.
That's tallish.
Cheap as chip.
Good bike.
Good bike, low
Good
seat
bike.
height, easy to ride.
Good bike.
Can do the highway if you really have to. I mean, it's going to be
Same category.
similar to the T-Dubs, but
Yeah.
maybe a little better.
Okay, but does
And
this,
it's easy to haul. It's easy to take with you. And if she doesn't take to it, you'll have a really cool little bike to have for yourself.
but like that's the thing though. If she does take to it, then she has to go and buy another bike, sell that bike. leave.
Pete's point-
But for the first year, I mean, I don't know what their rules are
Yeah,
down there.
right.
But she might not even be allowed to ride on the highway for at least a year.
Yeah, well,
Oh no, it's Alabama. Nobody gives a fuck.
both of his bikes are highway bikes.
Yeah.
So Pete brings up a point though about that whole idea. If you buy your wife a bowling ball with your name on it,
Homer. It's called a Homer.
because with Pete's idea, then you get a TW200
Correct.
or a CB500.
because she'll ride it, but she won't ride it all the time.
So
so he'll probably like that.
Her part owner.
CB500.
so is the only person at this table
Yeah.
that has ridden. Now I'm assuming. Now Pete, you might be the only person that has ridden in this area that has ridden Mobile, Gulfport, the whole frontage road, everything to Pensacola back to New Orleans. The bigger question I have, and this might go back to maybe, where does she expect to ride? Where does she want to ride? How does she want to ride?
Well, I'm guessing they have 35 mile an hour roads there.
Well, yeah, that's the frontage road along the inner.
Right. And I'm guessing they have a freeway that hooks them all up.
That's I-10. But that's the
right.
question.
Well, there you
is,
go. Yeah.
what kind of riding?
So
does
the roads
she
are
wanna
flat
do?
and black,
Yeah.
except for where they're curvy.
Oh yeah, no, there are no curves.
Just
It
wanted
is-
to check.
It is a straight line,
Right.
Straight line from Slidell, Louisiana,
So
to
what you're saying
fucking
is
Jacksonville.
So what you're saying
It is
is
a
the whole state has one type of riding, and then you're asking what kind of riding she wants to do.
Well, I know exactly what kind of riding she wants to do, but how fast does she want to do it?
Okay.
Well, Cinch, I mean, I do love the CB500X.
Me too.
I know.
No doubt about it. But I'm just not sure that that's the right first bike. I mean, I know
it's a tall bike.
It's a little bit much for your first ride.
BMW.
They don't use those at the rider education.
BMW 310s.
The 310.
are.
yeah, but you said not to go.
Well, I was
off
going to
the
say
list.
like a CRF.
What? What did I say?
You said not to go off
Not to
the
go
list
outside of the-
No, no.
Yeah.
I said
It's in the bracket
parameters.
still.
I said you're in the brackets. I said don't go above.
Yeah, no, we're not.
I was sticking to those three bikes.
No,
no.
Like a
Oh,
CBR
motherfucker.
100.
Look, he already picked 3 bikes for us.
yeah.
He said in the flavor of. But if you would have said an NC 700, I'd say now you're being a dick.
Now you're being
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. I
Because
thought we had to
she
go to
asked
those
about
three.
she asked about a fucking an
this-
elephant. You don't want to talk about giraffes.
Oh, I
right?
get it. No,
Rebel
all right.
300, Rebel 500.
Oh, here. What about this?
Janice Halcyon 450.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, like if it's any bike like that,
Do you
then
want to
yeah,
lose her to a 60-year-old guy?
Hey,
Go ahead.
My take is
60, you'd be
when
lucky.
you're doing the course,
Yeah.
you're riding your first bikes. 100 to 200 cc's is good, but for your first bike after you've passed
Right.
3 to 500 cc's,
Right.
doesn't matter the brand.
Right.
Get a bike that you fit on.
Yep.
And that's the right place to start.
Yeah, I
what about the new Honda Scrambler? It's the same platform, same
platform.
engine,
Exactly.
same
Right.
engine as the Rebel 500, same engine as the
Yeah.
Go to
that would
what
be
is
a
it?
good low seat height too.
We've had a couple of
500X.
those BMW 310s come through the shop, and they're good.
I've ridden them.
Oh, I have seen somebody beat the ever living
And they're
piss out of
cheap.
one, and it
There's
still
one
rolls
right
down the
now
road.
for $3,200 on thing.
Yeah.
I think it's a mistake to think that you should buy her a bike, buy a brand new bike for her to learn to ride on.
I don't think.
I
honestly,
think you should start with
Yeah.
some little piece of shit that's used and disposable and just do that. And when you get totally comfortable riding 35, 50 mile an hour roads and everything, then throw that away, throw it on Marketplace, and then buy the new bike once she actually.
Bruh, I got you. I got you right here because he's right. He is absolutely right. You know what you buy?
Lay it
the
on us.
Honda Rebel 250. It is indestructible, and it will never be worth less than $1,500.
Hold on, let me check. Mr. Brewer, how do you feel about cleaning carburetors? He says he fucking hates it.
Oh,
well,
all right.
that's the same
Because-
thing with the TW200.
Yeah.
It's carbureted.
Right.
300
Exactly.
Rebel
Right.
300 it is.
Right. So if he wants that, honestly, his FJ09, that's fuel injected.
Yeah.
His KLR, it's carbureted.
Yeah.
Well, it
Right?
depends.
And that's true. That's
unless
true.
it's the
That's
new
true.
one.
It could be new. I didn't see his wallet.
Right.
Okay, so let me not make any suppositions about.
I tell you what, if you find a bike, you
Right.
send me the carb, I'll clean it and send it back.
Hey, okay.
And
But
hey,
there
as
is
a
bike
Patreon member
that he
works.
listed, and there is.
You have to pay for the shipping,
But there's a bike that he, there's a bike that he listed, and I do want to dismiss it out of hand, and it's the 302S. So the Benelli 302S. This will transition us into our discussion about Benelli tonight, but the 302S is not the bike. Here's why. Although it is called a Benelli 302S, the Benelli TRK 502 was called the Benelli 502. You would think that it was a 502cc sized machine, a middleweight bike. But as any of you know who sat on that bike in my showroom or had the privilege of riding it, that was a BMW 11 or 1200cc motorcycle with a 500cc engine.
Yes.
So it had all the weight, all the presence, all the height of an R1200 GS, but it had a 500cc motor, which meant when the bags were mounted to it, it was having trouble going 80 miles an hour because that 500cc motor. The 302 is Benelli's TNT 600 with half as much motor. So there's a thing about these particular models of bike, and it's not everything Benelli does, but it is true that in the 302S, if you think, oh, my buddy has a CBR 300, I've ridden it. It's small, it's light, it's easy. My buddy has a Ninja 300. I've ridden it. It's small, it's light, it's easy. The Benelli TNT 300 will be small, light, and easy. It is not small, light, or easy. It is every bit as heavy as a 600. It has the brakes of a 600. It has the wheels of a 600. It has the suspension of a 600. It has the motor of a 300. It had to be a cost-saving measure on the part of Benelli to just be like, we're just going to do one bike. We're going to do it as a 300. We're going to do it as a 600. As a 600, it's fun. As a 300, it's lacking. And it gets her into that camp where, honestly, unless she's 6'1", the bike is going to feel bigger than it is. So, CB500X is fucking amazing.
It's a great bike.
It's a great bike.
As long as you got the legs for it.
They have lowering.
They
links,
do,
too.
and that is where Steve's on point.
Yeah.
We have one of our customers brought in a CB500X knee-high to a grasshopper.
Versys 300X.
Another great one.
Another
those are
great.
lanky.
Phil and I go
Yeah,
around
that's
about
lanky.
that bike.
That's lanky. It's a lanky bike.
That's got a 21-inch front.
know,
Well, I was going to say like a CRF 300, but that's still too high. I mean,
is.
like it's not.
Well, I mean, that's the trick.
That's
is,
why I really like that XR 150L.
does she
do
like-
you want a standard, a
Yeah, 'cause
cruiser, or a sport bike?
Ninja
or
250 would be
dual
the-
sport?
Look
Look
at
at every
bike.
bike he listed. Every bike he listed, except for the CB500X, is sporty styled.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he
dude,
didn't say monkey.
Yeah.
He didn't say trail hunter cub.
Yeah.
Ninja 250s are unkillable.
He said Grom. He said TNT 135.
Look,
right?
fuel injected.
Yeah.
Probably 90 miles an hour with a
But
smaller
it's-
person on it.
I mean,
right?
Ninja. Well, it's going to be a 300 or a CBR 300.
Triumph 400.
Triumph 400 is brand new if he's got
Yeah.
money.
Here's a picture of a young lady riding a XR 150L, and she looks
Yeah.
perfect on it.
There you go.
There's
God, that
there's
looks like the
lot,
Hawk.
There's
that
a lot
looks
more.
like it looks like they just paid the people that make that Hawk for $50 on
Yeah.
Amazon and made it a Honda.
Well, because guess what?
No, it's a Honda.
There are a
dude.
lot. There's a lot of back and forth questions here.
Steve, take that and flip it around backwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hawk looks an awful lot like a CRF 150.
Yeah, but
yeah.
when did that come out?
Oh, the CRF 50's been available in other markets for years.
Oh, all right, all right.
It's just
Here's
new to
something
us.
you got to consider is
Yeah.
the compatibility with what she's going to be riding with what you're going to be riding.
Yeah, if he's on the FJ09, yep, it'd be nice if she could go freeway speeds, right?
Well, I mean, he's going
he's gonna be vibrating his wrist so
He's
bad
going to
every
go from
once in a while, he's gonna
Pensacola
have
to
to change
Slidell in like
$2,900
20 minutes, no matter
price
what
tag.
happens.
on what?
$2,900.
So one of my customers
XR 150
just bought an XR 150, brought it by the shop. I took a ride on it. It had 48 miles on it. And I said, okay, how much is this? He goes, $29.99, $2,900. And I went, well, did you buy this stolen? He said, no. I bought it from Pam. And I went, get the fuck out of here. And I said, but it's a Honda. So they charged you $600 assembly fee, a $600 paperwork fee, and a $1,200 destination charge. He goes, no, actually, they were pretty fair. And I think he was out the door on it for under $4,000. So I rode it. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's not XR. I'm glad it's a bike that in Central American parts of the world has been the official motorcycle for the past 30 years. It's just DOT-ified now. It's NHTSA approved. That motorcycle has been other motorcycles in other markets with the Honda badge and other people's badges too. And it is cheap as chips because it is built to a price point. But it is a really nice motorcycle for being, like you said.
Was it whisper quiet?
Yeah, it was.
In the same vein, you could get the CRF 230 or the 250 or the 300.
I just thought those would be a little too big.
Well, you
for
can
a new
lower
rider.
them. You can lower
And
them.
they do lower pretty easily
Greg
too.
Castillo has one.
Yep, he does.
And
I've ridden it, and I love it.
He's kind of a short
All
guy.
right,
He
all right.
lowered his.
I'm going to make a suggestion because I know that area, and I know that Halls is pretty much the dealer in the Gulf region. Take her to Halls.
Go see Tommy. Tommy the salesman.
Go see
Check
Tommy
out-
the salesman. No. Go to Halls. Let her look around at the bikes. Let her sit on them. Like we tell everybody with helmets. Go to the place with all of the helmets. Try on all the helmets. Try on all the bikes. See what she fits. And then go buy it off Facebook.
And don't buy a CRF 150R. That's not the same motorcycle. Just to clarify, just so you're aware, you don't go in there and say, the guys at Cleveland Moto told me to buy a bike with an R at the end of it.
Yeah, no. Never buy a bike with an R at the end of it.
You don't
Chris
need that.
Smith suggested the GN 400.
That's another bike that's been around forever. There's a carburetor in there.
Yeah, that's a problem.
There's a carburetor.
Those aren't fuel injected.
I don't think so. I don't know. Let me.
Oh, they
let me pull it
are.
up.
That was
Are
the
they?
whole thing. Yeah, they're
Is it?
fuel injected. Yeah, because that's what makes it. That's why I was been considering one because it would be the perfect replacement for a CB350 because then I never have to clean its carb.
Do you still have any laying around?
No. Chris said You said GN 400.
Isn't that the genuine?
No.
The G400.
That's a GC 400.
GC 400. I'm sorry.
G400C, sorry. G400C.
G400C.
Because when you said GN 400, that's a Suzuki single cylinder 400 that they haven't built for
in
I thought he was
ages.
saying
20 years.
No. I was talking about the genuine.
Does have a carburetor.
The
Yeah, the
G400.
G400C is great, and boy, that's brand new, $39.99,
It's a lot of bike for the money.
and it does go just this side of 100 miles an hour if you had to.
Here's the other thing.
And it's Hofford approved.
It is Hofford approved. That's a hard badge to get. That is a
Yeah.
fucking hard badge to win right
I
there.
got 4 stars. And to get 4 stars out of Hofford, that's
That might be the only
That's the
thing.
only 4-star rating he's ever given.
Yeah.
He was really happy about it too. Like, I honestly, when he had that bike, and I thought he was going to come back and be like, when I sold him the Spade 150, I was so proud of the Spade 150 because I knew that it was faster than any other 125 or small 150 he had because I've ridden the shit out of the Spade 150. And when he came back in and destroyed, like he tore that bike up one side and down the other. He was like, well, the range is too short. It burns too much gas. I was like, yeah, because it's powerful. It actually makes real horsepower. Nope. No. I don't care how fast it is.
He hates horsepower.
He fucking can't stand horsepower.
No Hurspers.
God damn it. I was like, yeah, it's still 150cc, but it makes 30% more power than any of these other bikes. Yeah, but it gets shitty mileage. It gets 90 miles per gallon, you bitch.
But it doesn't matter. It didn't have big enough tank. And I'm like, put a bigger tank on it.
Stop.
Put a bigger tank.
Hammer time.
Buy gas.
The problem
but he
is,
has
like,
to
there's
go-
places up there where you got to go.
There's no gas. I found out the hard way.
That's how it is, man. That's how it is.
one other bit of advice for our.
But that's not going to be a problem anymore.
So in conclusion,
Excuse me.
No, we both.
the crack
Yeah,
can.
you were at the crack house.
Okay, you crackheads, shut up.
yeah. In conclusion, I recommend going to Hall's Motorsports, trying on a bunch of motorcycles, let her try out a bunch of different bikes, figure out what she likes, and then go buy one used.
That's good. I mean, try it before you buy it.
Because Hall's is the biggest dealer in the Gulf.
Are they a mega dealer?
Yeah, they're a mega dealer.
Yeah.
They own New Orleans, they own Mobile, they
Yeah.
own a bunch of different places.
I would
all
not
the way
recommend
over
you do that to your local
No.
shop.
This is they actually closed their New Orleans dealership because it was in a stupid spot near Loyola, and they're going back to the West Bank. But they own like 6 dealerships across the Gulf.
Tom is exercising his privilege to talk about New Orleans for 1 calendar year from the date he left. It's also a rule we have at the shop that we are allowed to blame any former mechanics for anything that has happened wrong for 1 calendar year.
True.
Mm-hmm. After the 1 calendar year point, if Tom mentions New Orleans, you're allowed to punch him.
So up till February.
Yep.
Up
So
till
February 14th.
Up till Mardi Gras.
Yeah, Valentine's Day.
I'd like to know the exact date, time, and minute when I can punch Tom.
There'll be an alert. There'll be an alert on the group text.
There will be a group text.
Patreons, punch at the $50 level.
you know with the
Oh my God, yes. Oh, please, fucking for the love of everything that exists. For $50 a month, you get 1 Tom punch.
No. If you're at the $50 level,
Yeah.
when he says something on the podcast and you're the first to report it, because that's now we got to encourage people to listen.
So they don't get to punch him?
They do.
Oh, okay.
Well, they get to owe him one.
Well, the better part.
There's a bank account for that shit.
Okay.
Somebody might walk up to him at Mid-Ohio and rent him for the weekend because Tom can't stop talking about New Orleans. Bang! It might be a whole event. But the good news is though, because the guy who wants to play this game and says, I listened to the podcast. I listened to it right when it drops a week late. I'm there every time. And the second he says it, they're going to be, because they all got ClevelandMoto@gmail.com.
So Harris, if you're listening,
we need timestamps.
It's right there, man. It's right on the email.
That's going to be Harris.
There will be no
Harris
doubt.
every time.
No doubt. And it'll just be like, just like every time a bell rings. So fucking good. That's brilliant. Oh my God.
That's a t-shirt. That's a bumper sticker.
It didn't take him long to break To Be Fair. To be fair.
To be fair.
There you go. So what I did want to say is on actual motorcycle news, because we are supposed to be a motorcycle podcast. We've done pretty good today, by the way.
We have been talking a lot of motorcycles.
Yeah, let's circle back to our friend in Alabama just for 1 second. Send your wife to a legitimate school to learn to ride a motorcycle too.
Yeah. MSF.
Well, in Ohio here we have the state sponsors one. Right. I don't know if Alabama has a state sponsored school.
They have MSF down there, and they also have Rider's Edge. So there are schools,
and a lot of those schools use very user, beginner friendly bikes. Yeah. Like in Ohio here, they were using TW200s for a while. I don't know if they still are, but they're bikes that are not intimidating.
Yeah.
But they're not like mini bikes either. They're not mini motos. So that would be my bit of advice.
They're going to be CBR 300s. They're going to be
something very user
whatever.
friendly.
Well, and the cool part is like you don't have to take the test then, right?
Not in Ohio. Now I'm sure every state's different.
Right. But in Ohio, if you pass that MSR class, you get your license. Like here you go. Slim.
Yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Well, they give you.
You take the test right there.
They give you a card and they'll sign your permit card and you can take it in and get your license.
No, but you
gotta
don't
go
have
to
to
the
take
bureau.
that stupid test.
Negative.
Right.
You're correct.
I have a secret I like to share with everyone. When I went to get my motorcycle endorsement, the lady hands me a test. This is when you still had to write it out by hand. All the answers are already written on the test. So I looked at 3 or 4 of them, and they were all what I would deem to be correct. And so I sat there and I looked at it. I said, I walked back up. I turned it back in. And she goes, oh, you got 100%. I was like, go figure. So I don't know if she gave me the
And
answer
she's like,
key.
where's my legend? Where's the one that I used to grade all these?
I think she did. She handed me the answer key.
But all right, if you are in the DMV though and you're getting your license renewed, do not leave without checking if you have your motorcycle endorsement, if your state's on it, because they forgot mine once.
Absolutely.
I walked back in half a day later. Like I was like, oh shit, I don't have my endorsement, right?
We're talking to you, Nick.
Sorry. Can't put it back. I'm like, it's not in your system. Like your system has to show that I've had my license for 25 years. Yeah, but it doesn't matter. You left here without it on your license, so now it is off your license. And I had to take the fucking thing again.
I don't have it in this wallet, but in my old wallet, I still have my motorcycle course card.
Oh yeah.
So I always thought that if they did that to me, I could be like, Here's my card from 2009.
I have my MSF card in my safe upstairs from 99, 98, something like that. So, and that was back when they were using Nighthawks.
See, I already had my license, but I went and took the class anyway. Just because for fun. And I was thinking about becoming an instructor.
So Johnny
I've
Mac.
had my license since '86.
Yes, Tom.
Hey, Mac. I'm smelling your Cajun two-step.
Are you smelling it?
And this
Is that what you're calling it?
it
now?
is here, wait.
You masher.
This is
Just the tip.
Just the tip. This, I'm not kidding you. If you ever had, it's not enough here. Hang on.
What is he snorting it? What the fuck's going on over
here.
there?
You want some?
No, I just looking.
It smells like Utz Old Bay potato chips, which Phil would constantly.
I love them. They are my favorite.
The crab, whatever it is.
They
Old
are
Bay
my absolute
potato chips.
favorite.
I want to
This-
blast a Bloody Mary with this.
This is This is what that smells like
I have a question for you.
So would this be all dressed?
in general, or just in particular.
We have a new Patreon.
Oh God.
Oh my god.
Meet Chris Smith.
Hey.
Hey.
Chris Smith just
Smith.
became a Patreon at the $10 a month level.
No,
Thank you, Chris.
What do
I
you
really
call a group
appreciate
of
that.
Chris Smiths hanging out together?
So what you're saying?
No,
is,
I'm not kidding. That's
what you're saying is Chris Smith doesn't get the jokes that he tells.
Smith. It has an email address that is not associated with you in any way, but he's not just spoofing you and being like, haha, I'm going to be Chris Smith for a day.
Wait a
His email address is Chris Smith.
Are you telling me there's more than one Chris Smith around?
Oh, yeah, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, there's more than one Chris Smith listening to this podcast right now, is what I'm telling you.
Janus has to sell some bikes, man.
I mean, I get it. It is Smith and it is Chris, right? No shortage of Chris's and or Smiths, but
Well, Merry Christmas.
It's Chris Smith time.
it is Chris Smith, and I wanted to celebrate another Chris Smith. Yeah. So,
All righty.
yay, that's so cool. Very happy about that. All right.
Was that at the $100 level?
$10.
No, that
$10. No, he gets the punchlines. He's fine. He's fine. Very good. Remember John Nadratowski, who had problems with his SL350?
Yep.
Yeah, I do.
Stump the chumps.
Yeah.
Thanks for reading my question on the air. I'm following your advice, and I'm looking for fuel flow problems on the SL350. I remember from years ago, you guys were talking about fuel line length. How long can the fuel lines be from the petcock to the carbs? The line to the right carb has to make a hard bend, and it may be kinked a little. You're right. So the answer is you don't want your fuel lines to be long enough that they can get a little air bubble trapped in there.
Yep.
So if it has a hump like a camel's back and you see that there's an air bubble in there, you may get that air bubble out once, but it will come back. And if it comes back, that problem will vex you until you make that hump go away. Regarding the right carb, yes. If you're just using a regular fuel line, it has to make an impossible bend. But here's what you're going to do. They make inline fuel filters that are a 90 degree. And a 90 degree inline fuel filter will solve your fucking problems.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
They're little
Yep.
plastic fuel filters with a gold element inside that like 0.3 microns can pass through or something. But they're cheap as chips. If you get them on Amazon or you get them at my shop for $3-4, get 2 of them. And you're going to put one on the left and one on the right. The one on the left really doesn't matter that it's a 90 degree, but it actually does make sure fuel lines go a lot shorter. And it will take out that problem you're having with that hose trying to be a kink, make a kink in the hose. Trust me.
And you'll be able to see the fuel flowing through.
There you go. And when you buy fuel line, buy clear or otherwise translucent line. We use blue at the shop. It's kind of our thing. We've been using blue fuel line for 22 years. We like fuel line you can see through because that solves a lot of diagnostic problems.
What do you think about Tygon? Is it important to get Tygon?
So here's why.
Brand Tygon?
Well, you're picking up one thing, but you're losing another. So when you have Tygon line, you are getting a fuel line that is impervious to everything. There is not a product you can move through that product that will damage it, and it has a really, really long life when it's on the bike. Even with high ethanol rated fuels, that shit, I've seen Tygon that was 10 years old and still supple and bendable, right? The downside, there's no such thing as clear Tygon. So Tygon fuel lines are going to be opaque.
We get like the yellow ones.
None of that is true. They make like 100 different kinds of Tygon.
But is it Tygon though?
Tygon? They're clear.
I bought the
ones.
yellow. It actually is. It is Tygon.
You know what? I'm thinking.
It's a weird name too. It's Tygon Ugugabegege. There's like,
It's like the Tygon 40.
You're right, the
40
yellow.
or
the yellow.
The yellow. Yeah, the Tygon. I was
That
thinking
is my
of
favorite.
the gray stuff that's like military
Oh, yeah,
spec gray.
But they make 100, probably 200, 300 different kinds of Tygon.
I was not
You're
thinking
wrong,
Tygon.
Phil.
No, I am wrong.
You're wrong.
Right.
I learned this when I was homebrewing.
Right.
They make some of the best homebrew tubing. They're actually bacteria-static interior tubes so that bacteria can't grow and hurt the beer.
Nice. The gray line is what I'm thinking of, and it is that's ethanol safe, but that is not Tygon. So that's what I
Now,
was
if you
thinking.
use the vinyl clear tubing from Lowe's, it'll work for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, a couple of weeks.
Actually, it'll work for about 20 years as long as you don't touch it. Because in 2 weeks,
it'll be hard as a
it
rock.
turns rock hard. But you cannot remove it. You cannot touch it. You cannot flex.
Yeah.
As long as it stays exactly where it is, you're okay.
I was thinking of PTFE.
Oh, Pete.
The PTFE is the gray colored stuff. And that's my brain kept going back to that. Motion Pro, that's the brand that most people would buy for the Motion Pro fuel lines. But yeah, the Tygon is the yellow mostly.
They call it Tygon Ugudaban or something like
There's
that.
a thing, yeah.
It's like a thing.
Yep. Tygon, if I remember, like when Tygon first came out, it was the yellow stuff. Yeah.
I can look this
It was the yellow stuff. If we use the Parts Unlimited blue, it's safe for everything.
I really hope it's a boot again.
I boot again.
Whatever fucking John said.
That's pretty good. Okay, that's good. But anyway, yeah, SL350, put on a 90-degree fuel tap or 90-degree fuel filter. You'll
That's
be
a
happy
good
if you
call.
did. It's
Real
good.
good.
Help
Good
that
move.
fuel turn the corner.
Yeah, it is. And it's amazing that when you're wrangling all those little fuel particles, they don't like 90 degrees.
I've used those on
It's
carbureted
Tygon Shin
Triumphs.
Gobian.
Really?
Kurt
What?
Cobain.
Kurt Cobain.
Tygon Shin Go Bang?
Shint-Gobian.
Go bien, like goes nicely? Okay.
Gobain.
Muy bien.
Go Bang. Got it. Yep.
That is the original. I think the company that made that makes Tygon the original Tygon.
Nice.
Tygon shit brains.
My comment on the SL350
Yeah.
is, I'm pretty sure those are the same carburetors that are on a CB or a CL.
Yeah.
And I always go down and up into them. So I actually take pretty good loop so that the fuel line goes down and then goes up into the carbs. Two things that gives you a natural trap.
Absolutely.
So you have a little sediment thing there, and then you'll see like bikes if you have a little bit of rust in your tank.
Every time.
There you can, and then you just pull the fuel line off, hold
Dump
it
it.
down, dump it, and put it back on.
That
and
is guaranteed.
It's as good as a filter.
Yep. Absolutely. Good stuff all around. All right. Nate. Sorry about that. Nate Kavanaugh. What's
Purple.
up? What's up, guys? What's up, Nate?
What up?
Recent Patreon partaker and generally kindred spirit. Nate here. I figured after several years of hilarity and ass-saving tech tips, I should do my part to keep you guys tuned up and in my podcast queue.
Yeah.
A big moment of gratitude came on a recent long trip. I was crossing Nevada, where mental diversions like podcasts really help pass the hours. You were talking about charcoal canisters failing. I knew right away it was going on with my V-Strom. Running chunkier than normal and fuel mileage worse than normal.
Yep.
Sure as shit, I remembered overfilling it earlier in this trip. About 2,000 miles ago. Now, if you put this together, he's riding a V-Strom across Nevada
Yep.
Yeah.
for the past 2,000 miles.
Yep.
Kind of a cool guy. All right.
Getting a little chunky.
Getting a little
Bike,
chunky.
That's what he said. Yeah.
So I did the canisterectomy.
There he
I
goes.
plugged the intake side with a 1/4-inch screw and a hose clamp and routed the tank vent hose down low behind the case. Then did the old plus to minus computer unfuck. And that I also learned from you to reset the TPS.
Yep.
And voila, back to the familiar extra chunkiness and accepted pretty shitty mileage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Thanks again, and cheers, Nate Kavanaugh from Santa Cruz at Moto Nate on the Instagrams. Current bikes, V-Strom 1000.
Yep.
Over 50,000 miles.
Nice.
Yamaha WR250R
Ooh.
that he runs TKC 80s on in the summer and D606s in the winter.
Okay.
Oh, nice guy.
Wait, he's from Santa Cruz.
Yeah, with 30,000 a WR250R with 30,000 miles.
That's because they got
that
that beautiful riding area,
Yeah.
and you can put some miles over
Is
there.
that not the 250X, right?
No, it's 250R.
Just 250R.
It has an R in it, Tom.
R.
It's
It's the
faster.
WR250R.
Oh
Yeah.
no, I don't know.
That's
The X is pretty
250.
sweet.
That's like if like you're in a real adventure, dude, where you want a light bike. That's the bike.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what he's
That's
Yeah.
the 250 that everybody says rides like a 450.
450.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The WR250, no matter what the designation is an amazing bike.
But I like the whole 30,000 trouble-free miles because we have some friends that are like, no, man, head gaskets on those. You got to really, really come after him. You got to really, you got to do, 30,000 miles right there.
Well,
He did
I
it.
guarantee
He did
you
it.
though that this dude does his maintenance and probably keeps his shit nicely running too.
Wait till you hear this.
He says he wrings the tits off of it.
I've never changed the oil, mate.
And a 98 Buell S1 White Lightning.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Ran when parked. with well over 30,000 miles. I stopped counting after the second speedo cable failed. No shit. Yes, you did.
Yep.
I got over my Buell disorder a few years ago, but I can't decide what to do with that one. So much time, money, and memories of just plain stupidity. I actually did a couple of 3,000-mile tours on that bike, and I did a regular 300-mile-a-day commute on that thing, but it's also done its best to make me give up riding. So there's that. I sympathize to you about your S1. Every Buell I have owned that has an actual Harley-Davidson motor in it has been fucking awful and addictive. Equal parts, I fucking hate you, and when can we ride again?
It's like a crazy girlfriend.
It is a crazy girlfriend.
Yeah.
Ryan Foltz, when he rode my first one, said, every time I enter a corner, the bike is picking the point at which it's going to throw me off. He said it has never done the same corner the same way twice. And I do agree. He said the bike had a hinge in the middle of it, and I totally agree. It's that rubber-mounted Sportster engine hanging in what should be a sport bike frame. And it's got a real case of I'm not sure what the fuck's going on.
My bike was just on that up till about a week ago, and I brought a bearing here that's floating around over
Yeah,
there.
so show me. So I've seen everybody fondling your hole.
You brought nachos.
And
Yeah.
so this is the phrase that I use for this is a bearing from the 70s because it's really groovy.
Yeah, there you
This
go.
thing is just click and click and click and
The
click.
microphone will probably pick it up.
It's
Oh yeah, it does.
just terrible.
Take
And
it
it's,
apart
and
and
it's a
let-
tapered roller bearing too.
It's
The
a
problem,
no.
with
This
the
is
problem with the steering head bearing, though, is it never fully rotates like that. It only
No,
rotates about 30
it
degrees and
rotates
comes
30
back
degrees. Exactly.
60 degrees,
Oh.
whatever it is.
And there goes the sound of hardened steel hitting the floor. But you're exactly right. A steering head bearing, one of the strangest things about it is every steering head bearing lives a life of a 60 degree sweep, 90 degree sweeps, tops, right? 90 degree sweep in a steering head bearing. Yet you have to use a device that is designed to let something make many revolutions.
Yep.
Right? So they're inconsistent. Their application of solution to the job at hand is somewhat inconsistent.
Think about it. I think with most bearings too, like
Yeah.
like the way that the lubrication pulls
Yeah.
toward the middle.
Yeah.
So if the thing's not really rolling all the way around, that lubrication's not really getting. I mean, it's probably getting on there, but
Yeah.
it's not getting a full rotation around it all the time.
But also, in his ownership of this motorcycle, he may go from lock left to lock right 90 degrees 10,000 times. Right?
That's nothing.
Whereas if this was on a wheel, it would go 10,000 rotations before I got to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Why don't they use like a bronze phosphor plane bearing or something like in a swing arm?
Bingo.
No
So-
rollers, no balls, just solid and grease it.
So
There must be a
so
reason. Right?
I'm sure there is.
In
I'm
that
just-
in that same line, why does Vespa use the same exact bearing top and bottom that they've been using since 1957.
It's absolutely true.
It's even in the MP3.
It's
even in the-
their most
which-
technically advanced motorcycle
Yep.
that they've ever built.
Yep.
The MP3, it uses a bearing from 1957.
Yep.
And
It has
it's
57,000 little tiny balls like a stupid bicycle.
and they're not caged.
Yep.
What the fuck, man?
Really?
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yep. No, they have not changed
Are
the
you
bearing and races
kidding
in
me?
because BMW.
So wait, when you put
BMW
these
and
in there,
Harley-
is it like the bike thing when you put the
when,
bottom and the
when
balls?
John and I did an Enfield,
Yeah.
we pulled this Enfield apart. It's a brand new bike. We're talking about year of our Lord 2017, fuel injection, the whole deal. And John and I are just doing what we do. We're just like, okay, hold that, tap this, pop, 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 pop. And all of a sudden, 29 balls just fell on the floor of the shop. And they went air damn where, right?
yeah.
They went air damn where. And we're scrambling to pick up. And I think we got like 22 of them.
Yeah, you
Okay?
that's when you got to go buy the
Bag of balls.
bag of balls.
you go buy the Crossman slingshot ammo and throw some of those in there.
So we were measuring every spherical object we had in the shop to try and make this bike go back together again because we were pinched for time. And we could not find anything. But the worst part was, I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to have to suck it up and we're going to have to take apart another Royal Enfield, steal the balls out of it, put the balls in this one because we did not have a bearing in the house, like an all balls or something that we could drop into that thing and alleviate the problem of too many damn loose balls, right? Because nobody's built a motorcycle like this since 1908, right? Like literally balls sitting in a fucking tray. That's it. And by the way,
Yep.
nothing capturing them.
Yep.
And not a molecule of grease. So the second we took that triple apart, what, a millimeter, they fucked off. And like I heard the first one hit the floor and I was like, well, that's odd. And then John lifted it and we tapped it like a little bit more and then I heard like tink, tink. And I was like, now that's weird. What the fuck is going on? Tap, 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 opened it up a little bit more, and then it was like fucking
Boing.
jackpot in Vegas. They all went, and they all fucking went.
It's
And
a pachinko.
it is not metric, and it is not standard. We measured it. I tried ordering these from everywhere, and you have to make the decision. We're either going to go to an all balls type replacement situation here, or we're going to contact Royal Enfield and order them directly from them because they are on page 13 of the catalog.
Are
'Cause
these
it's
All balls is always the right decision.
exactly?
are
And
these Whitworth balls?
I think they were Whitworth balls. And honestly, the Royal Enfield catalog, because Royal Enfields haven't changed much, has part numbers that have been in the running since like 1920, right? And the bearing part number is this part number from 1920, and they send you a bag of fucking balls. And the funny thing to me is if they know where 29 balls are, that means they know where 290,000 balls are. Just send me a bucket of balls. Because I'm never going to just need...
How about just like a big scoop of them?
Exactly. That's right. That's it. Send them to me by the pound, man.
In a Ziploc.
Well, John and I went through the whole shop in every drawer, and John and I each walked back to the bike with hands full of balls, and we were just like, nope. Oh God, no! What were you thinking?
These balls don't work.
It was funny, but it was too big to be a BB, and it was slingshot ammo was.
That's what I use in my KE 250 down at Mid Ohio for the little ball bearing that goes in the clutch push rod. Work perfect. It's working.
It is like 25 caliber. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. Very funny though that happened. So yes, Nick, I'm happy we were able to make your trip across Nevada more bearable. And also fucking great job, man. You fucking ride fast and take chances. That shit is cool. We cannot tell you enough, about how much we love doing this stupid podcast. And it is fun to talk to people, and it is fun more when they talk back.
Yeah.
And,
Well, yeah.
it's fun.
I mean, that's I'm not gonna lie. I always say hate mail, but the reality is feedback's not bad.
well, and Michael Murphy became a $1 member while we're recording. he doesn't know that it's while we're recording, but he will next week when he
He will
listens
next
to
week
this.
when he listens to the
He'll know
podcast.
that we read that he became a $1.
Yeah.
Dude, it's $12 a year.
Yeah.
So Santa Claus looked up in the sky, and it was weather or something, and Mrs. Claus says, "What's the weather like?" And he said, "Rain, dear."
You have to be a $10 member to get that joke.
That guy almost got his $1 worth right there. Almost.
Chris is off the hook.
Check
Nice.
one. Check 1, 2.
Check 1, 2.
Michael Wood says, is there anything worse than riding to work at 7 a.m. on a dark, wet winter morning? And is there anything better than riding home at the end of the day in the 50-degree sunshine? I was like, yeah, dude. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, but for us, that was like September.
I was going to.
We're well past that.
You just described Cleveland for like
September.
2 months out of the year. Yeah.
Right now, I leave for work and it's dark, and then I come home from home and it's dark. And there's no in between.
That reminds me, I gotta put the snow tires on the buddy.
You know, Phil used to do a little contest every once in a while. He'd send an email out and say, we're going to have a who can ride in the coldest weather thing.
Oh,
I
the
remember
cold
I
weather
did some-
challenge.
I did a
Cold weather challenge.
I did do
weather
a cold weather.
challenge.
I went over to like the you had to go to like a bank clock
Right.
or something like that.
I actually got that in my memories because cold weather challenge was a thing. It wasn't not just a Cleveland thing.
No, we did a national. So a couple of guys that we know did a cold weather challenge. They put up a very small, insignificant prize.
Right.
And they fucked it up. So here's how you fuck it up. You want the event to be fun? Send a picture of you, your bike, and then one of the bank signs says what temperature it is. And whoever's got the lowest one, we'll give you some prize. But now they had to make rules. And you guys know how I feel about rules. Fuck rules. They had rules like you had to go like the most number of miles and you had to ride at least 14 miles in the trip and you had to document that you fuck all that.
Because I did it on a GT 200 in New Orleans when New Orleans was
that's
like
gonna-
10 degrees. New Orleans never gets to be 10 degrees.
That's no way.
And no, it gets shitty cold down there sometimes.
Was there guys in the background going, "I'm Mr. Heat"? That's the last time Florida had fucking.
Yeah, Benny
started
Grunch was in the
Louisiana.
background going, "Yeah, it's cold," but you know
Baby, it's cold outside.
They got really, really particular about it. Had to be
Yeah, there was a lot of fucking
latitude,
rules.
longitude,
Evening has
vintage,
There's a lot
like
of
crazy
fucking
bullshit.
rules.
But the reality is, coming
Hoping
from
that
our
you
end,
drop in.
and this is a thing. And you know what? I'll put up on it. You ready for this, Phil? If we got Patreons out there and they want to do a cold weather challenge, send us the lowest temperature in front of a bank sign. Lowest temperature. Send us that up until what? What's the latest? February, March? What do you want to do? Want to set a date? And I'll buy a t-shirt.
Anytime up until 2025.
Hey, I think okay. Here's
I was
the deal.
gonna say,
we'll just do it. We'll just do it by St. Patty's Day.
Yeah, St. Patrick's
St.
Day.
Patty's Day. By St. Patty's Day, you send it to ClevelandMoto@gmail.com.
Yeah.
You don't have to be a Patreon to enter. Just fucking send a picture of you in a weather sign. Because I found a ringer one time when these guys were doing this challenge.
Fucking
I
send
found
it.
a sign in Cleveland Heights that was broken.
Yeah.
And it said -17. And I was like,
There we go.
It was like 40.
I think that was around the corner from my
your
old house.
And
Right?
I
I think it was,
I
too.
get somebody in Finland or in like
no,
Upper
I-
Alaska is going to send us something.
I saw
that's,
that
like,
sign. I was
ridiculous.
like, challenge accepted.
Are there any
Right?
bank signs at the Elephant Treffen?
I would take one. Just
like-
be
but
the
like-
coolest guy there with a big
Yeah,
digital sign that
yeah.
says,
Well, no,
negative, whatever.
I think that would be. We'll believe you if you're at that.
So
that
I
event.
took the stupid picture. So I took the picture of me and my P200 or my rally in front of the sign, and I sent it off to these fuckknuckles, right, to Billy to play along. Because who's going to beat -18? Minnesota exists.
Minnesota is a thing.
These guys were throwing in -25s like it was nothing. They were like using -25s as discards.
I've done that twice.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just they're just like, you mean Tuesday? Yeah.
Dude,
These guys are like, we now go across the lake to go to work because it's faster.
But you know what's crazy is you don't like that anything negative past 20. There was a thing today that showed Russia.
Yeah.
Obviously not now, or maybe it was.
Right.
I don't know, but it was 51.
Yeah.
And the guy walks out in the back and there's this sheep.
Yeah.
Like
Locked.
mid-step.
Just locked.
Fucking dead.
They're just locked.
Frozen. Yeah. It's
Use
crazy.
Celsius, it doesn't even count.
Okay, at -40, everything's the same.
Right.
So I'll give you guys a little tip about Celsius. I had to deal with that shit for a long time. Pete knows the deal. At -40, we all line up.
Yeah.
Okay, so at -40, we line up. At anything else, multiply it by 2 and add 32.
Here's one for you.
Yeah.
28 Celsius is 82
82 Fahrenheit.
28
That's
is
right.
82.
Right. Yeah. So the difference between, 28 degrees frankincense,
Oh, yeah.
or 28 degrees science is 82 frankincense.
Does it live and breathe at 45 degrees?
Right. Does it live and breathe with it lives and breathes at 45 degrees.
let's do it. Let's put up a shirt.
Not a shirt. No,
Swag
I think
bag?
we put up a jacket.
Jacket?
I got jackets.
Okay.
We'll make it a prize worth having.
Up until St. Patrick's,
Yeah.
let's make it happen.
Send us a picture of you by a broken bank sign.
Right.
That says an impossibly because dude,
Kelvin. Let's do
I don't
Kelvin rate.
hey, Photoshop. But if you're going to Photoshop it, I expect to see it better be good.
There,
It better
at
be
least
good.
include boobs.
No, if it's going to be Photoshopped, I want to see at least one penguin.
right.
Sleepy's gonna peruse these things.
Right.
Sleepy is going to be the judge.
Yeah, Sleepy
So-
will judge your photoshopping
And
skills.
if you want to bribe him,
know
you
a
go
little
right
bit
ahead
about
and
it.
bribe him.
But I think that'd be fun if we did a low temp challenge.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
And shoot them out to ClevelandMoto@gmail.com.
Yeah.
If you think it's cold in your frosty part of the woods, send it.
All right. And can I add a caveat? If you do not have a running motorcycle, but you still want to participate, cover your junk, but a butt-ass naked picture will...
yeah. Now, Phil doesn't want you to cover your junk.
That's a reverse dick measuring contest.
If your sign, and by the way, if your sign says any temperature below 10 degrees and you're on a Moto Guzzi, I know you're cheating. I know you lied. I know you lied. It takes those at least an hour at room temperature to warm the oil up that they'll start. John and I took some motorcycles out of the back of the trailer one year going to the motorcycle show. We had a grip of Moto Guzzis. And we were like, okay, well, they'll be a lot easier to push across
We
the
had
snow.
a lot of motorcycles in that one trailer, pulling it with my stupid Jeep. And I was like, oh. Why did Phil put all the bikes in the trailer I'm pulling?
We had 2 big trailers, right?
I guess.
And there was, every year at the motorcycle show, last weekend of January, it guaranteed to snow 2.5 feet.
Yeah.
It was a guaranteed lock of a 2.5 foot snowfall. Meckelfresh and I, the Thursday before, it was sunny. Like, it was sunny. But when we showed up, 2 feet of freshly fallen snow. And I was like, well, let's just start the bikes. It'll be so much easier to just start the bikes and walk them in, than trying to push them through 2 foot deep of snow.
You know what was crazy, though, back then with that 2 feet of snow?
Yeah.
You'd go out in the parking lot and there'd still be some fucking Goldwings out there with their fucking flags sticking
Nick
up.
Vanello rode the goddamn Queen of Sheba, his Kimco 250 people. He rode it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He rode it in the goddamn snow, parked it in the motorcycle parking area.
Yeah, no, that's
And they
exactly.
still charged him to park because the rule, it was supposed to be free parking if you rode in.
Yeah.
But the people at the gate didn't get the message. So Nick, in the kindest, gentlest, gayest way ever, said, you don't understand. It literally says, let me get my phone and show you. It says, if you rode in, you don't pay to park. So 1, where is the designated motorcycle parking area? And 2, I'm not giving you $10.
Right.
He came to the booth and he's wearing leather from tip to tail because when Big Gay Nick put on winter riding gear, he became the best part of the Village People. Like, he didn't put on Aero Stitch. He didn't put on like a safety suit. He put on chaps. He put on the 4-cow leather jacket. Like, when I saw him show up, we know that every year at the motorcycle show, we know it's in February, we know it's in January, but we know that all the attendees still dress up like it's August at Daytona. Like, the tassels and the tits and the bustiers come out, even though it's negative whatever outside.
Because you're inside.
Half those guys could solve some of like the homeless problems.
Yeah.
of clothing them.
Yeah.
If they just compiled all the sleeves they cut off.
Yes, there's a pile of empty sleeves in their house. Look, you got a muscle shirt, and it didn't come with the muscles.
I've never seen so many sleeves off shirts in my entire life.
In late January.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's like, dude, your tattoos are sagged.
Yeah. Oh,
Put
that's
some
the best.
sleeves on.
The less sleeve a dude has, the smaller the tattoo usually. It's usually like really like a fucking Tweety bird up by his knuckle or whatever.
Yeah. But oh God, he rode that year and it didn't stop snowing. It got worse and worse and worse. And when we were leaving, because that's the year my Toyota Tacoma broke in half. We were loading a bike into the back of the Tacoma and the Tacoma broke in half. And I was like, well, this is a weird day. The frame had experienced some excessive salt corrosion. But Nick was like,
that was one of the more lucrative findings you've had in your life.
150%. KBB plus 0.5. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Played that game as long as they let me. But Nick saw us in a situation where we had a 500cc bike half the way into a truck, and the truck was doing the high five.
Eiffel Tower?
Eiffel Tower. And Nick comes over on his bike, and he's like, so it looks like you guys could use some help. And I was like, go home, Nick. You rode here, you're riding home, you helped us unload. He did everything to be a mensch of mensch. It's dark now. The temperature's dropped to like 12. Yeah. And he's going to ride a Kimco 250 scooter across a fucking frozen tundra parking lot. No nails, no screws, no snow tires, no outriggers, no sidecar. Just Nick. Just fucking, yeah, we all did the Lake Erie Loop. Nick did Lake Ontario and Lake Erie. He did a bonus lake. In the same time we did a lake. He came in. Yeah, he did not just a Great Lake. He did 2 Great Lakes in the same time that we did. He came in under the allotted time for the 24 hours of our Lake Erie Loop.
Wow.
And he had done 2 fucking lakes. So Nick is magical. Like that. He's one of those amazing dudes. Fucking on it all the time. Super cool. Anything else? Because we're all going away for Christmas stuff.
Yep.
This is it.
So I've always made weird shit and done stuff and everything, but I've just upped my doing weird shit game.
Oh, you brought an electric glue gun, didn't you?
I did.
You you bought a metal glue gun.
I finally got me a welder.
Nice.
I'm very excited.
Are you playing with it?
I just got my wire.
Oh, you just did?
Yeah, I got my wire, so I'm going to start messing around.
And you have your gas?
It can do without gas at first. So I'm going to start without gas.
So you've got rosin core wire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that.
Here, get used to sparks. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be epic. Don't have anything flammable within 30 feet of your work area.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to not work in the garage. I have a lot of flammable.
Because I can promise you, the first time that you light that up, you're gonna be wearing a shield.
Yeah.
Or get a.
I got a good one, man.
Yeah. Don't use the one they gave you with the kit. I can't wait till my wife sees it. It's awesome. It's a pinup chick on the side. Oh, yeah. It's totally cheesy as fuck. Is it automatic or just?
Yeah, it's solar powered and does all its things and stuff. But that's the one thing I have to say, man. Like, they were out of black. I couldn't get just a black welding helmet for the price point that I wanted, right?
Okay, yeah.
So they had 5 other options. And I was like, oh, these, and the picture was like, the size of a thumbnail. And I couldn't say anything. So I'm looking at them and I'm like, all right, give me the silver one. Because I thought it was a bunch of airplanes and shit on it. I was like, at least, it's cheesy, but whatever. Yeah. No, it's like this cheesy, like all welding helmets are so terrible. They look like monster truck ads.
They do, and a lot of them now look like skulls.
Yeah,
right.
And
so
shit,
it's like,
it's terrible, man.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the $40 one at Harbor Freight is just.
Do you know what's funny is
plastic.
I've had 2 of the $40 Harbor Freight solar rechargeable welding helmets.
Yeah,
and I don't. Before, maybe an hour before I'm going to weld, I'll be like, oh shit, I'm going to weld, and I'll take the helmet and I'll lay it somewhere that it can get some light on it. Because in theory, the arc is the source of light that would make it darken, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much latency, it's ridiculous. So if you're going to weld in that thing for half an hour, 45 minutes, you're going to have the world's biggest fucking headache. Like, a Harbor Freight welding helmet is good for about a 5-minute job. And then after that, you're going to have an eyeball headache like you've never had before.
Yeah.
So a better quality helmet that is actually running on batteries, like there's actual real power in
There's
it.
a battery back, so like that's a
Right.
lot of them now have it. So like
Yep.
it tries to use mostly because I just did all this research on it.
Yep.
Then it uses just little like your typical watch battery.
That's all
your
it needs.
20 or 50 O's, whatever. it is.
2032.
Yeah,
Yep.
thank
Yep.
you. 2032.
Yeah, that's all it needs. And my difference was I have 2 Harbor Freight $40 welding helmets, and I have 1 Lincoln, $260 welding helmet, right? And the difference is if I'm just going to do some shit real quick, the Harbor Freight ones are fine. They're absolutely great. But if I'm going to be doing anything for any period of time, I got to have the better helmet on.
Sure.
Because God damn it, you don't realize what an eyeball headache feels like.
It's a sunburn on your eyes.
It is.
On the inside of your eyes.
On the inside of your fucking eyes. It takes weeks to go away.
Yeah, not cool.
It takes weeks. And it is that you will see the dots in front of your eyes for like weeks. And that'll teach you. The first time you have one of those, you'll be like, I need a better helmet. Yeah. But if you're doing little stuff, the Harbor Freight ones are fine.
Man, all these years of like getting stuck on projects because I had to go and source somebody to weld this or do
Yep.
that or
Yep.
like I did all the math and I like had like templates made to fucking make motor mounts and everything
Yep.
and still had to take it to somebody and then they didn't do what I actually wanted. They did something else. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that people don't realize is your eye has a lens. And like when you were a kid and you used to go burn
Yep.
ants with a magnifying glass,
Yep.
the same thing can happen in your eye. Like that bright light, the lens will.
It really is.
I've got a burn spot in my eye.
For fucking real, man. If you're going to practice and you're going to learn with FluxCore, it's the best thing I can tell anybody to weld, short of starting with stick, right? I started with stick, and then when we got a real MIG, like when MIG became affordable for us, the first time I had a MIG with the gas bottle, I was like, oh my God, I'm on heaven. Like I could weld anything. And then the flux cores came out, the rosin cores came out. And when those came out, that became like you could weld anywhere. You just needed an outlet. A 110 buzz box, you could weld any goddamn where. Mm-hmm. And it was just like, it was instantly the ability to weld, no special outlet required, nothing. But if you weld for a while with that flux core solder or that flux core wire, even the good Lincoln wire, when you do get onto gas shielding, you're going to be like, oh, I just became a good welder because it changes everything. Like the whole weld is so
we have
much
a nice
better.
welder at work, and
Yeah.
I used that on my quad runner to put a winch mount plate on the front rack. And it was like, I started welding with it. I'm like, this sucks. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm like, oh,
I have a gas bottle.
Turn the gas on. And then it was like,
Oh, you can
like-
paint with them.
I'm like, this is beautiful.
Yeah.
It worked
So
great.
how long is it? So they came with all the shit to hook the gas up. And
Yeah,
everything,
so
right?
most of them do.
Yeah, so it's sitting there. So like,
Right.
how big of a bottle and where do you get the gas?
So you can buy the bottles and you can buy them filled. You can actually buy bottles at Harbor Freight. So Harbor Freight does usually have a little consignment of bottles there. And for what they cost, they're not disposable. You can refill them as many times as you'd like.
So, as a home brewer, we used to
Yeah.
buy CO2 gas bottles,
Yeah.
and we learned that if you get it from an established shop, you don't have to worry about the bottle certification expiring.
That's right.
They will swap it for a full one anytime.
Right.
You never have to pay to get it recertified again. Just go to like AAA over in Lakewood. Yeah,
Closed.
Yeah, not the-
Closed. Yeah.
Yeah, they're
yeah,
closed.
I mean, there's a zillion.
Air gas is
Air
a good
gas
one.
is who I go to.
gas.
Yeah. Yep, I go to Air Gas. And Air
Gas.
Yeah, Air Gas is very fucking kind when it comes to setting you up. And you won't need a big bottle. You won't need a big bottle at all. You could probably buy, Tractor Supply does a $200 bottle. And I don't know if Tractor Supply has a refilling service that's associated with Tractor Supply, but their $200 bottle, you're buying the bottle.
Right.
You're paying for this device. You're paying for this thing. That's all you're going to need. You know, there's nothing. There's no deep science to it.
No, and funny enough, I had a cart already because I put my painting thing, my turbo sprayer.
Yeah.
I bought a welding cart from Harbor Freight a long
Yeah.
time ago, and I used it for that. So I just moved it back over. So I have it all set up. It's got the chains,
Oh, cool.
everything.
Yeah, I
ready
saw
for
your picture. You had everything. I was like, Sleepy went out and bought all the cool shit in one move.
Yeah, well, I had to.
Good job.
I had to use up my discounts because my year's coming to an end, and you can't carry the money over.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep, that's great. We had the fluid film party.
Yeah.
Since last we talked and you listened, we fluid filmed the shit out of some cars. My boots will never, ever leak ever again.
Renee don't give a fuck when she's
Oh,
fucking.
no.
Now, by the way, if you were at that party and you saw Renee, now do you not believe that Renee is an A#1 production worker?
Yeah, dude.
She never stopped moving.
Nope.
Oh, no.
We're smoking cigarettes, we're drinking beer, whatever, and Renee is just steady under there. She got her Palestinian liberation mask on, and she's just hosing. Fuck. She's got fucking Shema going, and she is just hosing shit down. And when her little crevice sprayer got filled up,
Yeah.
and I had to clean out her crevice, she took my 15 PSI gun, and she just went to town.
Yep.
And so
15. That's
Well, I let her-
1,200 PS.
1,200
Well, you know,
PSI,
I mean, we
right,
really
yeah,
trusted her.
1,200
I let
PSI,
her handle my wife's under chassis.
There you go.
That's-
That's it.
You let Renee handle
We-
your wife's under chassis.
Yeah, her
It's-
car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
She did the whole thing.
In case that one got by anyone.
In case, yeah, exactly. In case somebody got that the first time. Yeah.
Right.
That's
Hey,
that
hey,
is
hey, hey.
one of those deals.
Under the $10 level, you don't get that joke.
It wasn't much of a joke.
Most people won't.
I just always cover my ass because just in case.
Renee comes by and sprays it.
The
Saying.
I did figure it out for you. The 5-gallon bottle, 20 cubic feet. So 20 cubic feet, you'll be able to run that thing for about 4 hours. Yeah. So you'll be able to run a 5-pound bottle. That's 20 cubic feet. You'll be able to run that for about 4 hours a total job.
And that's a lot of
That's a lot. That's more time than you want to spend. You might replace that bottle once a year for a little bottle like that. And it'll fit nice on your cart too. It'll look sexy on there.
Solid.
But once you start doing
Too
that,
sexy for my
John wasn't kidding when he's like, once you turn the gas on and you're like all the same gear and switch your wire over to, no more flux core shit. Once you run with gas, you're never going to go back. It changes everything. And a lot of stuff that we use at the shop is stuff that I put together, and I'm a better grinder than I'm a welder. and that pays off sometimes. Yeah. But I also believe that like 10 bad welds is equal to 1 okay weld. So I'm not afraid to spare the stick. I'm not afraid to spare the spool and just
You
run
can
at
always
it.
just do a series of spot welds, be like,
Well, because it's really easy to unfuck a tack, right? So I'll tack my whole way around the project, and I'll just tack, and just spend the tacks as many as you want.
Check this out. So, like, I should know how to fucking weld because my last job, a couple jobs ago, I filmed for like hours.
Yeah, that's right.
Every welding
You did.
school known to man.
Yeah.
So I was watching.
You should have it by osmosis.
Well, I had the concepts.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of the different things about making this distance and doing that. Even like instead of pulling a long weld to go here, and here, so you don't
build into it.
Yeah, because otherwise you can work
Carry
the
too much
metal
heat.
from too much heat.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know all
You
that.
know
shit.
all the shit.
I just never did it.
The number one thing is, like anything, is preparation. Make sure you clean.
It is.
You want bare, clean metal, freshly ground up. Like, if you do
my
that,
brother, on the
you'll
other
be able to
hand,
stick shit together.
So I got this thing called a brother, and he's 7 years younger than me. And I told him about welding, the important parts, because he's a landscaper and he has equipment. And if you have equipment, you're a landscaper, you break shit constantly because you have young people working for you that run expensive equipment into people's houses and cars and shit. My brother will not weld on something until it is NASA grade clean. He will spend an entire grinding wheel or wire wheel to get to the point where he feels safe welding it. Here's something you're going to learn about welders. They go through everything. They go through shit you didn't necessarily want to weld through. It's amazing the amount of penetration your welder will give you. You will be stunned when you accidentally weld something to your table. And I've welded entire projects to my table, not knowing that I was welding all the way through my table. So yeah, I've had things that I put together that I couldn't lift off the table. It's fucking really embarrassing. I built a really decent welding table, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, we're about to do it, and I'm like welding over here, and I'm welding over here, but it's welding over there. Yep, that happens. Yeah. So I was like, okay, all right. Everything's a conductor, baby. Metal on metal is a conductor. Have fun. All right, anybody got anything else? I heard Chris giving the warning shot. Chris fired a shot across the bow. He's like, enough welding shit. I don't know.
Well,
I don't care about
I
welding.
found it fucking entertaining.
Chris,
I think we
it
should
is.
talk for another 20 minutes about welding.
I do too. I
I
agree.
got a stuffed cabbage and it smells like they're burning.
I do want another stuffed cabbage. That sounds good.
Chris,
All
what's
right.
that joke you had?
Yeah, you had a joke.
Come on, Jet.
No, Cinch hasn't.
Okay.
Oh.
Last one.
Oh no!
Oh, no. The last time we had to censor this.
He's not good.
I thought he was banned. For
Yeah, he's like.
jokes.
I got this one pre-approved.
All right.
I had
I'm so
HR.
scared right now.
I mean,
fucking Kromke, and Kromke's sitting right next to you.
I mean, he literally is the guy that has to veto this if this is.
HR signed off on it. I have the paperwork. It's been approved.
Wait, Renee did this?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
Go ahead, Steve.
farmer comes in from the field. He's carrying a sheep. And he goes up to the bedroom and he takes it into the bedroom and the wife's there and she looks over. She's like, Jesus fucking Christ, what you doing? Farmer looks over and he says, that's the pig I've been fucking. She's like, look at you, you dumb idiot. It's a sheep. And he goes, no, bitch, I'm talking to the sheep. See? No problems with that one.
With the translation.
I've gotten into the stock market. I'm investing in beef, chicken, fish, and vegetables. One day I hope to be a billionaire.
Oh, man. That was the palate cleanser, right?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, remember to ride fast and take chances. John, play us out, baby.
Bum, 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 bum,